is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Ahaya Boadu TV so yama munyi na akwaba pambraso na asema de bia me kan say e bia na wo first time a wo hwe channel no na won subscribe ya na wa subscribe sisi a afi o like video na ye nyina yin je comment section mo na ye share now Yaa Titi ene Ivan chi afi Listowel na napoku Listowel de expose wo expose sa o sand scandal for asa by Ofori Atta ene squad bi o mo te company na no mama company no contract no ma jiska no ma di o mo di wia no magu company no eti o se sa scandals ni nyina wo ho a wo de kwa ma ya mu investigation ti Ofori Atta ne squad NPP squad ne de chese aseme beto o mo nya saketo Ivan chere say the next for ye hwehwenim na yemo na mo aban otwem koye na obetimi anka oye wi onu jato na aban aba 6 months pe we say ai na mo anya de ye hwehwa ma ye be strike ene so hwehwenim na fi ni nyina ye omo president na ni kunu ni NPP ni no na mo manipulate no.
I think that we are catch say leadership and the governance in this no get cheaper and cheaper on daily basis, and we've gotten to a point that there are some people or more behavior on the political stage, and you know, people don't take politics leadership serious anymore. Because very often the very people you expect much from them, no one omokasa what one or and this gentleman over his life has been on radio, on TV, kasa as we are seeing and as a phone now on the team, but Onya Kenya and Akufo, that privilege was handed over to him. This is a gentleman who could not even manage government information, basic thing information. He could not even manage it because open a buying back within the media or get it so dirty and milkier in the history of this country. The Akufo government, and this guy was in charge of managing government information. So on one kasa portfolio na he was a failure. You know he was a change obedient as a foreign buyer. So clearly give you the signals of what the kind of person he is. At some point in time, he now was a YouTube channel now or a podcast as a minister of state. In the dying days of the year going into the election, that was what he was doing. So, and America walk sometimes it's very easy, very cheap, just to make those sweeping comments in a statement. But the reality dawn on you. And he had that opportunity. Yes, Oyagana knew Kenya to teach Domahama and NDC how to govern and so forth. The question is, before you set yourself to teach somebody, the question is, when you had, it's not as if you've not had opportunity to be in power. What I say, if Odikeka say, and I say any of the opposition parties now we have an opportunity to taste power before I say, or Mahama how to govern, I'll pay attention and listen to what they have. But these are guys, these jokers recently were booted out of power because of historic incompetence and recklessness when it comes to governance, leadership. And the Akufo-Addo regime, we all saw what happened in this country. And the era no abaye a tainted way. I leave an indelible ink on the conscience of Ghanaians. Abaye a nightmare. Ghana don't even want to remember what happened in the last 8 years. And your friends say within the information space, journalists in this country, how many were hounded? How many were attacked? Journalists were chased out of this country. At the time. Journalists were assaulted. Some were kept in prison in as a form back and forth because they were doing their job, criticizing government and bringing the critical issues to bear. This guy was a minister of state. What's in the voice?
Yeah, Debbie.
So, Anna Makacho said, answer now you set out to speak, you know. You need to make sure that you have credibility. Maybe you know, you are somebody people will take serious. You matana on my way, so and in the last 8 years, you know, if there is any government I useless in this country, in the history of this country, it's the Akufo-Addo government, and he was part of it. The blueprint is there, and we can just go through, if nothing at all, look at the economy of this country, the way and manner. Even the city, they could not manage it. City, we got to a point that prices of everything was over the bar, and I don't can be a Ghana for dear before now home tia koto abati Akufo-Addo the history of this country a billion see that, and that government wasn't just about mismanaging competence and as for Krono and Kasa. Family and friends, state capture, and as a forum, use state entities, yes, some special purpose vehicle just to ensure that money will go into the pockets of the cronies and friends of government. Kojo upon Kroma at the time, where was he? You understand? These are shameless bunch of individuals who always take the stage because politics has become cheap, because credibility doesn't matter in our politics anymore. You can just say anything and get away, because these are guys and can almost said them because of what they have done to the people of this country. Because Ghanaians had hope, high confidence in the Akufo-Addo government bringing all these people on board, and as a forum, because it was somebody, several other people who have been within the space coming on board. No, people felt so Akufo-Addo plug from intellectual kind of way, just to bring some intellectualism to bear. But no, the day it turned out to be a young who be there in the history of this country. Recklessness upon recklessness, incompetence upon incompetence, mismanagement, corruption. Just and out of that, they are two about just to play your cards well, just to win the goodwill on the side of the people. Now, man, for take you serious. You are out there talking nonsense, because if there is anybody to be taught how to govern, I think that they should sit back and learn what is going on. Because John Mahama Baye, yes, a very young koye, but clearly you could see few signs there. The dollar is stable. Petrol now man for the 17 city, despite taxes and as for about muye de and Rameko. Your first filling station, we could check away 11.59 something.
Maybe I'm trying to 10.99.
Exactly. So
10.99.
People were buying the first petrol at 17, and as for I'm told that cement price about for my from 140 and then minimum ton say 92 say 82 thereabout. These are the kind of relief I Ghana for and this is governance. I am not saying that it's the best, but for where we are. And if we do any comparative analysis, there is no way with the last 6 months way what has transpired, compared to what happened in the last 8 years. Yeah. So I think that these guys should just shut up. Usually they don't know how to keep quiet. You understand? And I think that most of them are turning out to be attention-seeking freak. When they lose power, now quite a China. So very often, as all about can be been among phones so. But when they were in power, they were all quiet. You understand?
Sure.
Because there was a time when people needed Kojo Nkrumah with his media joy, whatever experience, just to rise against the tide and their course within the space. Government information bars was sinking, and this is a journalist. At the end of the day, they couldn't save it. You couldn't even save your outfit to the sense that Akufo-Addo government got drowned in the kind of way, and someone lost the information war because it got to a point that people were not even ready to go on TV and go on radio to defend the party, because there was absolutely nothing to defend. It was utter nonsense that was being bandied around all over. So I think that these guys should just shut up. Watch what is happening. They are Ghanaians. It's democracy. Mahama Mamone and DBA right. So as a citizen, you can bring the government attention. That is what you can do. But to say Ghana for Monsieur NPP, if NPP as a political party in the last 8 years had anything to offer to the people of this country, a chrono, recklessness, incompetence, and the economy, and unfortunately enough, look at where the dollar is getting a bit stable. Petrol prices in as a forum, and yawo to anywhere chrono a course who chroma and yard, because I'm a catcher say, wound to me as a person, Sika that was invested in him as an individual, as to change Sika called Ashanti region. Because I'm still searching that there is no single project in Ashanti region that was started and Akufo-Addo was completed. The cost, anywhere close to about $55 or $60 million. But this guy, 8 million, 45 million plus extra 10 million. Yeah, the forest man, Sika Onya, quantifier over millions of dollars. But there is no single project in the Florida of the NPP at the Ashanti region where they get their vote. I won't say project way say that the people are benefiting. There is none. It tells you the kind of government or mobile. You understand? Yeah. It was an avenue they created to satisfy their insatiable greed, just to extend good wishes to their cronies, allies. I could find by in a bushia for and a for them. You see the way they enjoy it. When that thing was going on, nobody spoke. And the matter says second for Atta bushia for bold enough to issue when the nonsense was going around, when the guy was foolishly borrowing, when the guy was using his personal way just to offer advice to finance ministry borrowing and no family no the nonsense that was being thrown around, the family didn't see the need to intervene. Ghana for even MPP ministers and partner MP sorry say no yankasa na party ni afono yen ade a Ofori Atta no the family people na wonya kokodro you see and America there is no shame in the society where we live. When the gentleman was foolishly out there dissipating the resources of this country, yantin the family member because they were enjoying traveling first class and as for Koban and as for them. When these people were foolishly using our money to go and dig a hole in the name of cathedral, where were they? You understand? Is that the kind of good governance Kojo Ponkroma is talking about? I think that these guys are a bunch of shameless people. Nobody on his right senses will take them serious. They should just shut up and watch what is happening. And Americano, they can either transform themselves into a competent opposition party, or they can be what they are today, a very useless one, very incompetent even in opposition. And we've gotten to a point, I think that Ghana for are coming to understand politics to a extent. So you see, some of these cheap politics and this kind of street propaganda don't win any value. They don't have any currency. If you want to convince the average young person out there, say, dwell on the issues, the critical issues, because politics and what then the comparative analysis will come. I just said the last 8 years of Akufo-Addo, the indelible scar I leave on the conscience of our democracy. Ghana for freedom free that. Yeah. So an agent of that particular government, any right to come and educate anybody on governance. When Ukraine dollar and as for now, they were telling us nonsense. Ukraine Russia war, now Ukraine Russia war, you see, these are a bunch of shameless guys, and America say you're cheap in politics, and it's the reason why people don't take politicians serious anymore. Yeah. And Ghana Nibia who politician not generally be a con man, because that is how we've created. We've made it in such a way, say, we have power now. Whoever you want to satisfy, be whether I agree with the party team and I agree in the team, we draw all of them because bazana I know that they know there is no bit of intellectualism, idiocy taking over the political space, even at the hub of governance and leadership and so forth. So it liberates some of these fools to come into the political space. They do the worst that they can. Just imagine a fool who has been given a free ride in power. Because our power will be able to. So I think that Ghanaians are really getting serious. You see, let us do intellectual discourse. Now you follow the issue and you know what to talk about and criticize government, because these are some of the things that everybody just to shape in the whole political landscape, for the benefit of not even those in power, but for the average and the ordinary Ghanaian. It is not about my better position. There can be a negative. Nanka Petro both to me from Nakwabrand is a demonstration. When it was 17, yes, demonstration, because there will be goodwill. Abraham 17. Why didn't you tell people to demonstrate? You understand? Yeah. So, and America said these people are really advertising who they really are. And your friends are pretending to be intellectuals, but in reality, they are not. That was why the last time I told you, sir, we prioritize certificate. When I'm a certificate, say, what did you agree in the party? Because your castle will be an intellectual. Very often, you don't need to go to your house. Yeah. Work for a certificate about what the hell be your casa. People should know, this guy. You understand? But this all courses with certificate that's what we do. That means what I said. I think empty. We must begin to demonstrate to people, say, we are really intellectuals and but empty. That can be assessed in the way and manner we think, we speak. Say, man for confidence, inspire man for. Because in the last 6 years, I am very fresh on the minds of Ghanaians. Why will any person in the Akufo-Addo government and the near Ghana for corruption, I walk out with now Quabrania Tibenya Kukudu, no better radio say they should come on school. Now, I'm a journalist and sometimes they create a free room for some of this nonsense to thrive. Now, besides, in the last 8 years, information ministry, were you able to manage it? You understand? The warfare, the information warfare, and the Akufo-Addo government, and the government got drawn because you could not defend the kind of Neman Amanfo kind of social media. It got to a point that the Akufo-Addo government was out. People were not even out there defending the government, but he was the information minister. So for him, he's an article of incompetent. But because fortunately they had media platform, then as a phone to they were able to convince people say more credibility. But they came to government and exposed themselves. So for me, these guys should be disregarded. They are all attention-seeking freak. They are fading into obscurity. They are fading into irrelevance. And sometimes, in order just to keep kicking people to know that is when they begin to make some of these foolish statements. Because in some now any reasonable way when the track record of the party, even your own people admit it, is the worst version of the NPP that we've ever had in this country. I told you, when you sit down and do the NDC NPP comparison, I don't even fall for them because the Kufuor version of the NPP isn't what Akufo-Addo brought. Akwasa me last time I catch us akwasa war Benz na wo de war your fence aka na omode fa nipa na kase no 207 no obi abehan so de kofa asorofo whenever I was no de ko wiam ponche de number bi the NPP as a political party was hijacked by these criminals. So the actual Kufuor MPP wasn't the MPP. You understand? These are a bunch of criminals who hijack the political entity called the MPP and use it for their criminal activities. And all of them are part of it. You understand? Because they were benefiting. Because if not, why will anybody on his right senses, after seeing all that has happened in this country, will be able to be bold enough and come to the media space and say, oh, Momra, you better know how to govern. I think, you see, they do this because they don't respect the people of this country. And maybe they are still living in the past. Maybe some of the guys in the MPP they don't realize where Ghana is at the moment. Now. You see, they still think, say, we are in the 2000s where those cheap propaganda don't fly. But then I'm telling you, say, Obi Asebi owns his school, they muda krana. What a children or a lecture on politics are we show. Do you know why? Because there is a free flow of information within the space. Now, so for whatever you believe it or not, there are a lot of tons of information going out there. People are reading, people are getting a bit enlightened. You understand? First, and yes, I emotions, me as me, I want to need me way kind of politics, and that's how go off. People are beginning to follow issues based on the cons and the pros in it. How I stand to benefit as a Ghanaian, and the larger governance sequence. How is it going to impact on the future? Me as a young person, look at the level of desperation that Ghanaians went through in this country. And then I hear documentary where Ghana for young people call Russia say omo kwa kontokwa e bi ma ba omo nan ba ko obi sin nyina she na nu nyina artificial and as for course okotia bomb so just say it's so messy. Because of the desperation that was chasing people out of this country. And people were making millions. People were pocketing millions. This gentleman knew Chrono Akoso under the MPP. And today, suddenly, saying, yes, sir, these guys are shameless. And within 6 months, will you be bold enough to be doing some of these things? So I think that, you see, politics is not cheap, Because in any serious country, you will not have some of these characters running around the media space trying to criticize Obi because the moral conviction and the moral justification for those things are not there. When you have messed up, mess in our creating, we are not even junk. Your friends saying clean it up. Yes, can't want some kind and then you are out there talking nonsense. But in your politics, they're cheaper. Why would people even give ears to some of these things?
All right, and who do I say for the whole week, and as say you'll be any abra ye necessary one more aqua strike and nipa a wunyasem ketua and I know na make a madam for bisi makam and yema say maybe madam for you a ye juma e wo mochre na make us say no be ye juma mochre na fa na for say na da nye juma na information I know de ma me na ahomete say enipa ewu no che say wo modwene ho mo nti ase de ya wo mu kra ye obi wo ho no ma ne de no nka hyeda nye ade bia ye serious bia sa na so ye de be ko na sense nurses no striker even first aid kura be ye de no nipa ne prea no wa famawu there was a video anope na me kan wase ma me hu wo Facebook na lady no asumwa se ne ofa yare ye de ne ko hospital nurse ni no ehwe ne ofa na yire nanim ka che ne se omo wo strike no wo ho em se sa time no na omo fa krado nkotu mu but o ka che ne se omo wo strike em omo san ye se omo tam papa na ko private hospital omo andru na owuye na lady ni ye video wo Facebook na wo ka se nurse ni no wada na se say or share the wofa nanim ka che se omo wo strike na ne fofa no akwakowu enkwa de ye ba akopɛ enti ye ka nkwa ho asɛm ane owu asɛm a ye de ani bre ane passion ane eka demands na ye nuanom nurses for na ye no agya me ye sure say Ivan ye wanim sɛm but ye me mbobo so say be ye agya Ghana fo be hu de ye kan ho asɛm wo ma asɛm mo ka mo pse wo mo pa uniform allowance wo mo pa tools allowance tools no minimara se mpania ne niema omode yesajwe ne mpane niema ekeka ho no eno ne tools no omo pe no so omo so personal tools bia because the minimum say nurses there and as a hospital esiwa ya ban adwum asede so make sure say equipment and as logistics egum nurse ni no unim de na ori koye adwuma enti gloves kura wo de be hye wonsa no ya ban asede say wo so toma wo enti sa allowance no mo pede akoma katua ho no well I don't know say aban be jai sa ne ma ne to no mu makwa akoto de a almost sample additional duty allowance omo per call in allowance omo per commuted overtime allowance omo per permanent posting allowance temporary posting allowance omo per funeral grants in fact funeral grants no crowd here enra yes perpetual say aban timi tua no ye 600 million Ghana cedis otua e bi on be consider funeral grants funeral grants ni nyina ye say obudihia bi wu e was aban tua eba osika enti minimara minim how they are going to calculate it is it as and when I would this year na wu and every month bia na the sika na ka ho amount what they try say would this year be wu and what I don't know but wo ho and a fuel allowance but allowance is now maybe boss no ebi wo ho no executive ne pen be benefit nurses no kra na ma cost strike and then no some of them will not even benefit sa fuel nya do bi nurse ni a cost strike be nya bi perpetual na executive no high for no money benya and omo per 13th month allowance omo per on call facilitation allowance omo per non basic allowance and omo per height allowance ni say omo say hospitals ni bo no ma ya banso that to so 1 2 3 ite bi omo froko first floor second floor to the more now all co floor all co soro no heights omo per allowance and omo per disability guard allowance to say bia obi aba hospital na say bia nani afira ana bia oti wheelchair mu a we say nurse ni ne piano ana nani afira nurse ni be so ne nsa no na kwotena ha saa niema na wo mo yema disabled people no wo mo pe ho allowance so eno ne nkoma a eda table so a na ka 2024 1st July and akufado aban esan ye in fact all kind document now or say and it shall be implemented from 1st July 2024 shall na she woni nyina chi omo implement it nti afa na nurse fo na ni abra omo say omo ju omo allowance nti innocent asema da prono so no.
Yeah, I think Mamenchia the legendary KSM.
Hey, and your uncle, senior. Yes, salute too.
He's a great man, always, you know. Contribution to whatever that is happening. I think he's amazing. Yes, yeah, I think this nurses demonstration strike thing is very pathetic. Because some of the entities no more render essential services. Nurses, doctors, police officers, military, those kind of way, because services are such that whenever you revoke your services, you put human life at risk. So that's and the money your friend is saying very way the constitution no ne emra o kroma labor law no outline processes ne na for because obi peeved about the working conditions salary na for there or nipa you cannot stop people from expressing dissatisfaction about the conditions of service. And as near my goal, no, there are a whole lot because I'm telling you, sir, being at the hospital, the risk involved in some of the things that you do.
I'm a innocent or a nurse.
Yes.
So when you my innocent or a nurse, and see, well, almost is a funeral grant to beg you.
Oh,
and I have a height allowance.
Amazing. So yeah, I think that is very pathetic. Sometimes. I know a medical doctor now or perform a procedure on somebody.
Yeah.
And and I think that there was a gush of blood, a puba, and a good name. Unfortunately, the person was HIV positive.
Jesus
so what
Christ.
It means is
automatically.
I'm saying all this just for people to appreciate the depth of issues now.
Yeah.
And now I've always been advocating. So you see. The emolument structure in this country, you know, are very pathetic. But the same person, oh, but now, you first near mana nurses, a demand some of the conditions near mana woman, some are absolutely nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. It doesn't make sense. And me, I don't blame nurses, I blame the leadership. Because you see, nursing leadership over the years has been very, very, very pathetic. It's the reason why most of the young guys and girls coming in, will be a film. So nursing your now a diabetic, now call a anesthetic, or be caught no acquire way. Everybody's moving away from the space because leadership over the years, I'm for now, I'm more betting or more. They don't even think about the welfare. I remember that was a time they were paying nurses student allowance. Yes, my for nurses, nurses for near. So this is the leadership. They don't fight for their own. So over the years, nursing leadership has been very pathetic. Very, very, very. And nurses know. Even go to the various wards. Your friend is a matron for no more. They don't even care about their own nurses. They always advocating for Nema. You can go to a hospital and say, okay, what is now more? You have more allowance. You bet me my nurse need 100 Ghana cedis. Me a doctor need maybe 2,000 Ghana cedis. Look at the gap. But metro no will not see anything
wrong with it.
Yes. But nurse we will spend much time at the bedside, do all the dirty jobs. It's the nurse. And there are facilities you go, there is no nurse. But the same facility, I doctor, nurse is not money.
Yeah, money be need.
I will not blame them. It's the leadership that is there because they don't know all that they are interested in.
Yeah.
They don't care about the work. So over the years, I never way na burogusua do now film. Do now because you see that there is no future because of bad leadership. And there are things that it's not even right to say, but I think that's very, very terrible. But yeah, with him. Said yes, no. I'm worried about the kind of politics in this country because so what is happening within the space now. We cannot be sitting with GMA today. Doctors now more aba na ya demonstration we are na teachers na ya nurses na ya way. There is no country that will survive doing that. So for me, I think that we need to look at our emolument structure aggressively. Now you say why they take a risk at the hospital? We make a candidacy for the marshal. But don't forget that police in here are deployed so on bank and so it's the same. It's at the same risk. Because at bank and I'm Robert Bar. He's the first person.
I'm better get it.
So you wait me now young guys bullion vine and for a so everybody is at risk. So as government, I think that what we need to do, and they say, Yabaki Sanya Mani boom. Now you assess the risk level of all these individuals. Now you draw a comprehensive package. I cover some of these. In the absence of this, then some of these things are likely. Or we are marked somewhere. Doctors will come.
Teacher for
will come. And with the government, it a trade of nonsense. Always you are in banter. And Nippon say, and I'm saying there are more bargaining advantage because our draw services are you be in hot waters. Until they will continue to do some of these things to you. So I think that one of the things that I'm away ama and the monument structure because there are nurses our weird degree na se for them salary brim take 3,500 4,500 na se for them what I say and very pathetic. So for me I think say we need to look at the basic salary structure now you making sure say you improve on na se for them about demonstration strike and so now you improve on now you say baby and nipa no ye adwuma bia no obia is okay with the onya na se for them and I think say it me yes aniema na a better key away this bargaining chipper. Very often, some of these entities hold government to ransom. Oh, my essay, my draw my services. That's for them. Conditions of service. It will be here. Now, I will tell you conditions of service. Here, but you see, sometimes the way you go about it. And you can't there are roadmap. And this particular strike, and I think say to be very honest with you, because you see, this and is up.
I was striking. We are now Kwejuma.
Oh, maybe can't striking. Yeah, because of the same nursing leadership.
Okay.
Issue is very confusing. People don't understand. Free baby. Okay. Emotions.
Okay.
Sa package na ye kana sa your friends say package na ye kan was a collective way na agreement na omo make here no. It's a paper under Akufo-Addo government no. Omo ti ase e na ye fe omo agree but components na wom no. People did not pay attention to Niema and Ewom because at the time, now we were going into elections. Akufo-Addo government at the time no could not afford to be engaging nurses back and forth because once it was going to affect the government at the time. Okay. So on the package in the bar say package in the they agree on virtually everything. They agreed on everything.
Okay.
And now, the government then you cannot blame Akufo-Addo government in this because they were going to implement it. Then the nurses, psychiatry nurses took the issue to court through a nurse party. Said no. Agreement no more agree no. And yeah, dear say GRA in the no mother body no because then the bodies be braba no. And no one transit. And no one can. And the one agreement from my be the issue no court. Issue no court and then the psychiatric nurses won. So back and forth issue no court to no pull it out to be no. Now you January. Now you January yo Akufo-Addo took off ye ama mahama aba ama yaba January. Budgets no at the time no already had been prepared. Government didn't just sika de bia kwata me na wo de ya de. So the reason why I'm blaming nursing leadership say omo ye involved enti na de we Akufo-Addo implement am omo komo de court no ne back and forth ni nyina wie no na election is over. Enti me ya Akufo-Addo I'll be happy because the burden has been
burden na free me so
good. But you see, let's say governance is continuum. The mere fact that Akufo-Addo ensign doesn't mean that John Mahama ensign. Fine. This is a government that is barely 6 months old. Yeah. There are structural former or a cost of baby government require for
and certain way you and forming way.
And you can still press and engage the government with your concern, but to threaten and say that may cause strike when the procedure and the processes that are outlined won't follow. People have taken a very belligerent position. They say we are done and they say yameba. And I've listened to a couple of interviews or granted, which you could see clearly intellectually she's very, very febrile. In some no kind of sabi, obi mature mind will not be making such comments, and either she's motivated by politics or whatever. I don't know. Obia or concern what he has a woman ya first. But the way she's doing as if that is a government that has been in power for like 3 years and on engaging. This is a government that has been in power for barely 6 months. You cannot declare strike within 6 months when negotiations with the government hasn't gone on. And Sanya Mana Kosunina, Nona, Emma, man for say, okay, Sanadia, Nemana Mubisano, young Kona young Koshim. You could be a crat and you could shame. Quabrane say me ye adwuma wa abrosan so first floor meji 2.2 CD 50 pesos a day. Say third floor 20 centimeters meji 3 CDs a day. And me ye adwuma fifth floor na that's for no meji 5 CDs a day. Yeah. Who on his right senses as a government will agree to this pack of nonsense? Say see yet hey okay.
First floor.
And with here Smith budget salary at channel because of the floor. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I sympathize with my salary and very bad. So this energy they could have confronted government not in salary. Catch on the basic salary now and we deserve better. Yes, don't put up this nonsense and make a floor back one make a floor me. People will not even take you serious. But Akufo-Addo government did not pay attention to those things because
election
but and the government now all try to reset through look at so now they will say nyansa anymore what TV what I say and I was expecting class uncle or nurses in Penifon by catching up by say first now the bill we had nurse now the car if I want by a free man and that thing has been taken away. I was expecting nursing leadership to be fighting for those things. Dr. Sidia has been put on hold. These are sensible things are bizarre. Nipa we are serious. What I say and again almost a funeral grant.
Aye, funeral grant.
Does it make sense? And the amount of money involved is over 600 million.
600 million Ghana
funeral grounds in what sense? Like, funeral we know abanya djuma no obi nye bi nchen obi o and I make say the risk obi ade ho but ya say abanya agree to some of these and I'm telling you so every na teacher ni ya say almost munya risk ugina akasa from anopako say anwumre no. So you see a time will come we are going to open the floodgate obi abeba say funeral because what funeral grant amobia you have to
pay for a teacher.
Adia ba kwa yes make sense in the woman 13th month no you see 13th month no there are companies omutia I was working for a company Christmas they will pay you double they do but you see this a policy you cannot introduce to a section of workers what I say you because 13th month you know say you're widen to policy in here 13th month. So you cannot exclusively say 13th month. It's going to create agitation. Doctors will come and ask for 13th month. And I make us you see when you have that collective bargaining chip as an entity now who make it demands be reasonable. Say ya some no can. Mami asem okay because any day. So be a nurse salary nya I'll be the first person to fight yes salary nya let us make sure say we pay nurses well. Because how can a degree nurse be working and be taking 4,000? I cried 4,000 times.
Yeah, for now rent to cry.
Exactly.
Rent to
So as a nursing leadership, these are some of the things you engage government with. Allowances and so forth, they are good, but you see, very often when you are advocating for allowances, people don't take you serious. But when you want salary discussion, and I know there are roadmap and so forth, but you see, when that particular thing is very aggressive, you the government in your engagement because of the work you do. A salary structure to a certain extent can be improved on. But some of these demands and you see that the whole thing has become a subject of public ridicule. I'm for a kind of science so now one now for a funeral. So when you do that, you bring yourself, people will expose you. Or may pick up some of the things and I will feel not yet. And again, one thing people don't understand is GRNA a nurses entity organization a mother body association and then nurses for what people don't know they say your friend is a health sector now some person will engage abanya the bargaining chip now yama entities health sector now or what time or the GRNA the mother body so on a legitimately ultimately buying her and bargaining certificate no abanya bargaining but very adeba people don't know ni say sa entity way entity made up of those who work in the private sector every single nurse whether you work for government or not you are part of this organization. So we are nurse you ma banyo we nurse ma banyo so there is a possibility say obi betimi aba GRNA president abra onye aban adwuma ma aban trust hospital
Okay,
Onya Juma, or yet more private hospital, but on the GRA way. So, Sani Party, dear Banya, Aqua negotiating on workers who dealing with government. So, I buying workers. It's not about private. So, the partner, oh dear, Nimako, Okom Krana, or Yajuma Mine. I don't know whether you get the picture.
Because I didn't remember young Klana at here for
yes.
I innocent yes, into the man the time to explain it better. It's the innocent Amiati says see and say Ghana registered nurses one why body no perpetual no and the dear anymore as the president, you know. We are nurse or Ghana and Kwadia, you are part of this association, whether private or government, we are under this mother body. And no money am bargaining power. It's here be crying out, make us a perpetual yeduma by me, baby or yeduma, I'm not interested. Be not perpetual crown or yeduma may private hospital be crying me.
Yes.
May call private hospital. Every crown of honor yeduma. By because I am nurse, I under this body needs to know why rise your position.
Yes.
So I bargaining private hospital or won't cost strike. It is a by the cost striker and you're
yes,
because I think exactly. I think that okay.
Yes,
thank you very much.
And say nipa near private nurse and some now are fighting for horn crown or a being cano. So they can do whatever that they want. That is the
benefit
that is the bad aspect of it. So at the end of the day, no, people will not take. So for instance, I'm not saying that it could be possible. Say, all the head nurses, leaders is from private hospitals, and these private hospital workers, you know, and the people who are going to lead charge with government, engage government for those working in government sector. Does it make sense?
No,
you understand?
No,
and people will not even take it serious. You understand?
By expansion. Strike no crab private hospitals.
Yes. Exactly the point. I don't know maybe not private so because you see our capacity be able private hospital.
Yes. So you see how fast anema way nyina but as who can be bre omo kire wase.
Yeah.
What I say. Exactly. So for me I think the roadmap na down and the labor commission the assembly court.
Yeah.
They are calling nurses to come back, but still, the woman, they are sort of baby a Zoom call and so I think that the political undertones was our name and the money are very pathetic. For one eco hospital now, one day I don't even want to go there because some of these things are very weak. But the thing is that we are building a country. Every strike action be an premise on established rules of engagement. That is okay. And you see, Senka John Mahama Byway and last year our and our banner say only implement here, then you have a case. But we are talking about a government that is 6 months older. Yet here your deputy minister of health.
I can't don't 1 man.
What I say? So give you say even government nucleus now here forming a crowd. So you give the government time to settle. And what settle we no opa kofa we asem kwasa asem nyina gu papers obra. Was settle we na wo ne say the bargaining there your bargaining power na be kire wo or so pe furu na ope whatever na say otimi e bargaining na or win that one there and let the government settle or settle down na wouldn't have that back and front now that is okay but budget has already been written. The amount of money involved is over 2 billion. I have the document.
Yes, I say 4 billion. No?
Yes, I have
4 billion every month.
I have the document with me. And the governance in yes, to acquire what I said. You need to go through. So for me, in as much as I sympathize with nurses, the challenges in as for mu go through in as for no. Quina leadership now for no in this particular regard. No, it's in bad faith. It's an ambush. And ya win him say, your friend is saying. I didn't know psychiatric nurses and as for said they are not part of this strike action because the things there and midwives as I say at you they have an association almost I listen to the president or say they are not in support. They want near man or muhiano namum kwanya or mafaso more no it's not right, you understand. So for me I think that strike they will be our home but a government that is 6 months old, that is my word, 6 months old for me our negotiation, was started with a government. Why is it a power? No, the government will need time to study the documents and see how the economic situation and conditions, everything support those things. But if you don't do these things, now what may cost strike because you think that you can force. No, it can't happen. That. So that is why I am this whole thing. Exercise in bad faith, and I think that I'm so disappointed in the woman in charge. Maybe we know. I think that we need to pay particular attention to your emolument structure. You see, because of that happen on the political space. Because my classmates, me a doctor, me a surgery, a or hospital, but some 12,000 Ghana cedis. I've seen my classmates be at the Ponkos or did the party executive or China CEO. allowance in a month no so me as a medical doctor me way. Yes, those things are there, but you see Ghana becoming very overbearing. Oko baby esisi but yabro so enti ama obia fi nani ehwe unso unu obia kasa omo compare allowances leaders ninya oko parliament sika na mamamfo nsase na de dugu bag him na you see, so people know that there is money. So if I'm a nurse and I'm risking my life, I also deserve that pound of flesh. But if we are able to restructure the emolument structure in such a way, say baby obia no give you what you want.
Yeah.
Oko you can be a nurse here. Nanim mere obi oye mayor. Oko we no be a doctor. I will US. Nanim mere obi oye your friend saying senator. Yeah. Because as a doctor working in a facility in America, the money I get, is almost the same as even far larger. There is this Ghanaian plastic surgeon or US. The guy is a billionaire. The guy is a billionaire because he's a doctor. You understand? So such a person, a senator, or not. So that is what we need to do, just to ensure that people in this service, young training and liberty, and also now poverty now. We teacher near say what they
teacher need a bobo.
Na police for crowd there
police for there na kwa.
Onkwani am a single room na the fridge ni na name.
Prison officer crowd there near bobo.
Na say prison officer there omo dey tell me that.
Omo kan ho prison na fire.
The difference between prison officer and a prisoner aya war. They are all living in prison. So yeah, I think we need to look at in as much as the ekosu ni nyina in a broader stakeholder way. Let us look at the bigger picture. Na ye hu how e fa so a your salary structure ni ye sebe ya obia anibeso de oye. But I think say yes I be but be nurses for the nam there. Some of the demands na we making are absolute rubbish. It's nonsense and no government on his right senses will agree. Obi be catch am say oh na say abandada na jitum because we are going to an election the other ko we obeja to mama. But in this real sense here, you will say the state of affairs here, petrol and so forth. We can't do that, you understand? But we should try to know who's the car. Allowances in as far air cost of parliament. Yes, people will be peeved. So we need to do the politics where Sabaya because Obia who here, nurses who here, because nurses in you can survive. Kakra your more draw service, you see what is happening. And now Abasia won't feel it. Now we yam kawana junior do who say yes. So you see enti yele na ye make sure say baby obia no ye betua ne kai is me classmate me do mo wie legon about 70% of munyina ko UK I didn't know obeko because salary ni nya wa ha okoha anya hwe ne ma beko yama no some are in America nursing training can be classmate about 50%. They are all in the UK now. Why? Because the structure system here is very terrible and recognize it and give you nothing. No answer when the move flat is ana one way out and we now or life or no I don't know. You understand? Government must pay particular attention to workers. Police for more wins because it's it's bad.
Police need red no any green no difference difference. Yeah. But I agree can you question there be a red now me say Upesika catch say most Ghana where by force to say red abra me so many tuatua where me who say agree.
Yes,
so you see the frustration out there.
Yes, the frustration. So it's not a take it to poverty. So government must pay particular attention to some of these things, not making sure say you improve salary. Because I say ukoye politics all of a sudden now order VAT other way or the classmate who oh you see kind of moody. Ebi akwa na nya ban sika o. So, and I'm the politics in a comparative way. Now, people are getting exposed to some of these things. First, who MP officer or a special person, and people have come to know. So, some of the people standing on the political side, some are even a Wuram Kwan.
That's what Becca said. We know what
I say. So that veneration, respect, and that one is gone. So it's about salary. If you are taking this, I should take this. You understand? So I think see a restructure, a emolument structure, some of these things will not come up, and government should make sure say the risk allowance now must be universal across board. Now you fan 20 fan salary no. Now you take away that power from people coming to meet government. We yane we no negotiate we are now we know. Hey now you be that by. What I say, and as a nurses and also bisa for BB, they should ask for something important like this waiver on cars and then as a form. What I say, the near who here and the people say, we and several other essentials. Now, could be a funeral ground, could be a science allowance. It's absolutely nonsense. Oh,
all right, Ronnie, so Eya semo.
Me enche tifo ni ahwefo na menchia innocent.
Eno aso press conference ni me follow ye. Na samia wukusu hwe. Na me ni nyina agina live no so.
Every Ghanaian
Obi ahwe. Ba number so wo hu so no wo hwe.
Denti a e wo so wo hwe de say na dwuma na me bo hu da ro. Na poni a samia wuku gari ni mako ne the board of NLA edi ya omodane adwumaku a eye oman dia de ma ankorankore enya ho sika twitwiri die in excess of 3 billion a year. In excess. I've been very conservative with the Sikana American sure. Because 10 million no, times
7 days
72 weeks in a year is 3,640 million and coins. And can know Kenya
ye be one city krako so bedum so
me pese yame aduma me dey no bewie me press conference me dey
okay
yes sir that they are innocent dey enkomo na eko on say o ma we no kran kan ya
pa
but e was here ka na asembia idi kan bia no e was say eye adia ebe boa ma o man no atumpo honest for adia o moye ejirani ma me nsaso bi di kai pa ehia pa che bibia ye nipa nkwa nurse bia juma o ye no
yeah
enye sebi galamse ni wokutu ena enye breach juma no wokoye enye sebi carpenter adwuma wakase o de dadwe ko bobo table mu na ma bobo dadwe mu a table no ahodin na enya bat nipa nye den emu adwuma mu ye nurse wo adwuma mu ye pa say innocent he ole me ya again say adwuma mu ye no nipa nkwape na obo ho ban maybe a doctor for court ma me a call strike ma me de omo court. The Ghana doctor for nyina ko gina court because strike na no more come na nyansa ba ko kura ni we say you know we imagine say me court but we trasia na me dwen ho a sabi enemi obi kan mi tefa bia but we trasia na me dwen ho a I was say the partners no no an kasa sua nyansa ade anasi fo ni ye nyansa ba ko kura ni eye jimia abo honta ena ewo mu tirimu a enu nti elidi omo say omo ko strike because doctors no me di omo court gari ni mako ya ene oye NPP for lawyer ya national lottery si ni huwom ona na e board chairman ono ene be gina mu as lawyer for the doctors a omo ko strike no. At that time, na omu opposition. And the man me call court ni nyina ye because me offer say John I work on the bed, work on the crèche. Any omu ko shia e wa Afrikiko. Wa bra na me wo Afrikiko ansa na omo eba. Enti say John ti ho me so na me ye me call for me partners be bon komo. Na me di omu ko that time no Flagstaff House. Na President Mahama no na president. Enti me bobo me points eja meduma ba ko mienu bia me pese me de kone ye ma me na me partners ne tiwa da me hu se don so oti honum na enkofo aba besra no Ghana medical doctor Ghana medical association for empany for besra no enti 2 days after me a friend me kuma say my sister okwa awo so me friend madam for doctor bi wo Konfonochi na omwa on facilitate na bed ho ayede the sister so no ma share no for CS enti bed ho ayede no no so no yankopon fa the currency oye sickle cell Enti let us say akoba say e wo say me friend madam for doctor ni a wo ho ma ye nya bed ma no.
Okay.
Sabre na mu no doctors say ye ko strike. And I lost my sister. Together with several other Ghanaians. I'm not singling out my sister because I think we are not in Yaba. And several other Ghanaian souls were lost. And now, what they said no. If I also lose money going to court, paying for a lawyer and whatever, I don't think a idea will be quiet. And I'm a court. I'm a court. You're in a box. My first question is, say, what interest do I have? Say Dr. Fosso Moko striker. Me say me the Oma back court. Now in Gary Nimaku's submission to the court no. Or say me a busybody. Me ni hweye and I me no abaya be sebechi and na me de Dr. Fosso court. The Jabanian striking the case out. Oh I agree that it. I want to catch a judge and say on the front page of Daily Graphic that day I was in court. Now, a doctor for the court strike in Munino. Doctor ni baby or no so or court strike from Kolebuno.
Yeah.
Or no, I could hear Biania Manafanayam Ama, you're rushing into 37 military hospital. And I'm the page of newspaper and they say, Dad, they say, Dad, you're bound. I say, my Lord, every human being is a potential patient. I'm not saying every Ghanaian. Every human being, whether Ghanaian or resident Ghanaian or foreigner or whoever, is a potential patient. My Lord, my lady, you are a potential patient. The doctors on strike are all potential patients. The lawyer defending the doctors on strike is a potential patient. And myself, I'm a potential patient. I've lost my sister due to the striking doctors' action. Several souls have been lost due to their misbehavior. Because before a doctor is taken as a public servant, you know, or swear oath of Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
Oath no also any say ono na adwuma na o ye na essential service.
Yeah.
Enti obi o ye essential service provider bia so no. Emra na hye no kete say because of the nature of your job ninti no. Any kwan say about trimu da kra say o ko strike ama nipa abewu. Chetita ni ko striker sebi previous. Akwara na bebon, akwara wo bon na kire na dia obehu. Meboa. But nipa de olusu ne nkwa sebi ns aban se de wo busa nyina mpo anyansa ba kokura nimu no. So de ni nyina ma na nkwa na ye lusu no be ne no wakofa na bankwam. Eto so o magimi. Obu ni nyansa. Me mabu kotodwa pa o meche ba manu me ho se me pa o meche because enkwasi afo pa na me pa o meche no. Because they are potential patients like the patients who are losing their lives. Who will be in your bank? Say, aban mu nipa ben na wo say wo bibi ne ne kan wo so won tiase a wono no wo hia wo services. Ayaye na monya ye. E na wo say nya wo awo ho.
Nko e china nkwa wo so betimi.
Wo na se na wo yare a. Ehi fa na wo beko. Because wo was strike. Enti private hospital now wo concern ko mo so call striker. They said the doctor ni call 37 military hospital no was strike o.
Yeah.
It was call na 37 for say yes, you was striker. Can he find no?
Can no beko.
Oh, nipa Jimmy a. Mon kan say say we Jimmy. E dey pa na che nipa nkwa. E dey na wo wiase we mu a. E chan asombo. E che nipa nkwa. Like Innocent is saying, me who the betu anim na Listowel market anya. Ya ba betre studio ha. Aban hwe nurse for. E no kura yen ko to say o. Aban timi nya sika. E timi ni flu wiem sen. Etimi di ye nneoma ahodo ye nneoma begro medamase sa ban no ma che ne so ntesu kokko da mo te ne so ntesu kokko eti sa me ka chom so ma jimi a e no kura na me ka o ma jimi straight me pa mo chew because
we for leadership no na nurses for what for
no
is the leadership.
The leadership of the nurses and midwife association.
Yes.
So Innocent. Me a leader.
Yeah.
I bet you for say kokun maame. Woso what your leader no and I would be cooking man. Me no energy.
Oh, among the organization, they strike a banner if we top nearby, they will all buy. So leadership, because there are some who are even at the hospital working.
I think one area.
So it's the leader. Is the leadership? Is the leadership? Not
one man cost strike in leadership. No by over there. And until now, the catcher was a strike. My leadership, no any guasi. No young who are Jimmy. Na Ghana for nya yen hu leadership ni Jimmy sir anya so mo ka se kwatwetwe so ma me so kokunu no wakoku no because wo ya wo ho eti no hu ye te o ma bi mu a ye bibia ye nwonwan bibia ye nwonwan se nipa no a ode na adwene bedwene no wonwene ni so obi adwene ma no esi ya mo ko strike e bi nko strike o no fa ase ba ko anope o frame so for me ko adwuma etimi nka ba bi o ne yakotata no okọ adwuma enene na ansa na me friend na buza ne say yes mo ko strike na den na ekoso o so oni ma de kro nti o mo ko strike
bebre ni ma de kro nti o mo ko strike no
o se oni ma de kro nti o mo ko strike
yeah
so na just a leadership na nkasa
a problem leadership na a problem
the reason why I will take your argument in favor of say Ghana for who leadership no poor leadership
yeah
because akwai se Ghana ha no pani kasa akwara nka bi
exactly
enti pani na akasa na enkwara ni bi achi na se nka akwara so hu nyansa nka beboa no because leader no make wonu owie ya wacha ticket wacha akotra
so no to Finland
okay kan kwasa
kan kwasa asem
jibu position ko reke ka
ho bo kwasa pani doctor jibifo no onu ka tell me say me yare na say me the doctor for be court to dia me ko wi nwura me nwura be say me yare aboa sa no
okay tell
me when you we order so your doctor yeah was like getting the license free in some order so your doctor was say o mo contract na me ntia me ko wi nwura
no what
to wait me for wait.
That
is what he said. It's on record. You can Google it. It's something that came out of his mouth.
Oh, Charlie.
Say, me said so mo striker. Me I mean call you Mura.
Said then he was a general secretary.
I know you're general secretary.
And now a president and
because of NPP you are a doctor. Jimmy Forster. I don't know me to us there. Omo call strike ni nyina say. Don't let your leaders make fools.
Don't
let your leaders know. The leadership of the nursing and midwifery association.
But say we are senate.
Obitimi. Who am I say no?
Exactly.
Behave because some you don't hear. Say President Mahama, they want to do no cry. No, say me person me call Ghana hospital. Obitimi akobe be of his choice. It is you assume you know amokun anya sensan ye bre and sensan no ye nurse no maame nurse no nua ba nurse no wofa nurse no wadam
wan kasa kra
because we need
na ni wo dine wo ho a eba boa wo no kra ne ka ya aseme so entina me ka ni pay am
because no say mo say no wabu nkotodwe po ma chew
me pa mo tell because I felt say omo nwi omo ankasa bra bo ho kane abaya wo ni kun
6 months.
Debio, who the Fanisa Abani did for? Abani did for the Fanisa, Sabani did for. It is here Abaya only queen. So, yeah, so Bracheno, so ni for the enemy was one Tiwa. The patch of only a buying on wine every. It's a mammy area of a coin. Oh, Papa Yari of a coin, oh, Fire of a coin, wouldn't he? No one say, and point your baby in qua. Now I don't for it. They don't know. And no yari obet me agu one kasa yari obet me agu ti wo gina one na wo gina man ho kon ba bia nipa gini yakodu obi etimi ama ada wo politics mu say ko strike major Mahama animu mu ase won so se bia wo pe boyfriend wa ko wo pe girlfriend wa ko e bia adwuma nti untimi nko ahya wo enti say no when your opportunity e ko strike say umama yare a ubesie no wan wakwakofa no mi aba ofie etinka mo mpanifo nim nyansen ene ka mo so mutu mo fo se mpanifo yi ya hwe omo nim nyansa aban yikura wo ba da ben yen twen aban ne se afra se obeya Listowel say no a chapa wa pan ene owura minta aka no ne ho kra mmobo
me say honorable minta aka no wa bre o oni deputy
na ho brasie pene kasa
I like the way our handle issue
exactly
and the way all ye no sabi untimi nyasin towo ne ho say minister kra ye ni share wentie yen utie obi a the owura to forcing osuma na the deputy ampimnako kokoya wo press conference watchim sikaya mu kan
on be fa free
boma in essence of 2 billion obi be busa say na buy aden na 2 billion wunya dey na buy beto he
eka
binu mi enu nyina nim say do mahama na say ya ofuro na be nwei ya wo sha say oni Ghana food ko o se wonu amu krampo no wo the bet abo ne yem making sure say ye boabo sika no na eduru bra sika na ya boabo no ye nya biem afei wo kase opani wuji akatwa sei kura ka wakatwa ho a na wo hu se ebi da ho ne ye den na ebi se wonu mu a na otu bia eben eti de wo hoi fa ne sa na de ye toton no ebi a ya ma ubi pacho waka bone ye wa tanfo we are our own enemies and the department secretary no kran kan che ni mianti no obiara mana ye politics we the NPP na wa bam NPP for so akose akire ai bonko na aban die na wo NPP ni wa betina aban mu fie nwotwe senka ye nyansa semo a na nurse fo ni mo kan eno krampo no ada na mu anye akatua fie nwotwe amobae condition of service nti na doctors corp strike o the nipa hu do ewu ye doctor ba kokura no wo tema o doctor ko strike ni ma mi wu Kumasi ma mi ko na yi ni ma
we nyina ni hwen
ni ma mi no wonu ye doctor won kra ha o tema ni ma mi no yare wo Kumasi a wo se ye de ne kwa konfanochi the do konfanochi na doctors
no so oboko strike
o friend no say o friend na dan for doctor ma na dan for doctor no na dan for doctor na o friend strike ni no so to kwa bankran afro mo rashi afrin kran ha oni na dan for no rashi afrin kran ha ko Kumasi akohwe ni ma me yare o mu dure no mo kofa ni ma me funu o Jimmy na me ka no asi kire no Jimmy ni patimi Jimmy eku onu ani ma me eti condition of service no that you ebetimi apro enti wonte da sa aban timi twa back pay
o TRS
eti say na wokura ni aban ka say okay aban ye pese ye ti ase na emomu no de so woti ase so be ye de a ene eduru da wo betua no back pay us
Listowel I say some of the things na wo mu kwa utu enye
what you free na height allowance de
sa funra nurse
funeral grant height allowance
13 months enye
akwaron friend say
70 go ha no waka ne ye
na no ye interview
perpetual
maame no
ebema bi no
general secretary minimum
no so be kasa bi am say journalist no kura bisa na senti nipa wu kura abon fa was if sa na be ye de a you brother
your wo sa bema no your wo sa bema no
it's politics
so abortion enye illegal e was say ko ya abortion
it's
when the nipa was what na nipa mu the nipa on oni akoma oni abodo kire uni say we no nyina no on me ma aban futuo ba ko
yeah me kwa kedo fata issue no so
afutuo amede ma aban ni say aban e wo mu say wo ba ye nche enwoma ye diama wo tutu nioma se ne nioma bekoye na asem bia no ye woni ka na mra bi me ofa akwesi ageman ya ade bi wo Kumasi City Council na sadia o ye no me di tu abanfo se wo fa akwesi ageman kwa adwuma na painters e wo ke me ho nyina se e ko strike yanko me mpene ana ofa akwesi ageman se na akwesi ageman of blessed memory bema akwesi ageman se o say mo a mo be ko strike ni nyina mu nyina ha ana emu fa kese na akogina left mo a mo so mo pese mo be ko strike no na mo be ko so aye adwuma kopin se ye benya de mo pa ama mo no mo so mu nyina ha na nipa kakra bi nso kogina ana o say okay mo a mo so mo be ko strike no e fi na ekuri ke me ha ya yimadi The chamudi free book mu. And no, I stand up and be counted.
Yeah.
Ye chamudi free book ni mu a, baby a open no, ko ye wadwuma. Wo so be ye adwuma no. Ye ni sika ye de be ma one. Na mom se wo koso ye adwuma na. My bosomi mienu miensa. They said the aban se ma
2026 no.
Sabre no, ye transe ne anu adi nkomo ne yahu de sefata wo se de ma ne de ama. Wo betna fa wo nua bra. No me painting work. No on come ho. Ade a chen ya na nkofo na omo yeyi o madi no. Omo abase omo be pa che na adwuma no mbe na eye influence say omo yes ana omo ti aban ne so ntesu kokwa a na aban no be sibi to dia grievances aban enton sanfra nurse fo a omo don omo man say
akra make up
wo pese wo ye adwuma no wo wo pese wo ye adwuma as nurse no ko hospital ni entro wudin na yan fa list na mra aban wo wan ko register within 2 days you know. Let us some person here by the adwuma bi. Ni ye tawdi mu. Ye tawdi free mu less mu a upa kwa Kazakhstan na we fie be for adwuma. Because your deviant behavior will not allow for you to be a nurse in this world again. Aban should pick the bull by its horn. Because if persuasion has failed, force must be applied. Enough of the nonsense. That Subaino, it was here sua. And yes, sebi. And from the who padia wo nyantino, there be a beka say okay, and from who kura hu hia. Na kanyanko pon come month from Majampantu. Or the bo say na be ye betia platform. Edu baby a the motia from atimi a former from yefe. Or platform no se san nyani nyina kogu baby.
Na ayi nyamira boy.
Yakopon bo motia from asani e be ye bedu baby no, e fi wo baby kura betimi a prefi na kogu murem. Enti yi nwura na e wo nurse fo ni mu no, yi nwura ni free mu. Ebi madwene nya adwuma. Wo mo madwene ye adwuma no, wo mo na betimi ni abaya ye adwuma. Enti frɛ nurse fo a wo betimi ni abaya ye adwuma. Wo frɛ wo mo a wo be register. Obi a register wo hospital a wo mu a. Wo kwaje list na wo hu say nurse fo we e di omso mbebe adwuma. We mu di omso mo ma adwuma. Mo a mo ma adwuma na fi na kuro ya abaya twamudi afri. Nurse fo list mu. Ye twam ka biem. Na wo fie na wo kom de wo. Wo nua ba ko wa ko school. Enfie say ni o pa adwuma aye kura wo nya. 2 years ni yɛmfa nurse for 2 years ni akufo do aban wa fa nurse for obi ti fie pa adwuma yɛ enti sa list no yɛ twam udi free mu na sɛ ɔmo fie no yɛ kɔfɔ mu be hye wa na ayɛ den.
All right.
The best solution.
Okay.
Then say be mada bia ne di tuasu ko ho ai na aban fa wi amame ameye o say aban fa wi amame ameye o say what bra yɛ say hye and now pa ma police for nkasa me ko ɔmo ko strike na hwe amro be say ke be rob na ɔmo de na me say bi ɔmo de twa ɔmo ho atuaduam. They think the police for the home sorry case a strike. I don't know Mudiabosa. Masu always call for strike. But to say Munim said Mamoyano, a Nippon Kwana Mobile by, and I want Casa Kwana Mobile by. I don't know Nippon and what doing Yajma, sir. I don't know where, sir. That be at the Yako promote the family. 2 Munas and Crank, I say, oh, radio man for crack and tea. I just say, but yet, Gumanimuase as an among Nasa. I don't know where, sir.
Thank you. You know that? Yeah. Say, Abusiafo na say, Mama Seremo, or Modesha no, but Munin free interpol red list no. No, yes, saying it. And now, man, and I be classic and Ofori Atta Power, betting me a bagana or bar. Some of most woman or Babano and Casse. Or say any rights. Or your
no see a solution.
Into a second of that, and your pioneer the demand or backward cassa. And rights.
Nana be no, our cancer say me, or you'll be on Nimyansa, but who say, I'm pack and for Atta Bana or mean and one cassa. And right, but silence, no, I even a bigger statement. I be helping in the prosecution. So sometimes, you know, and I'm a casa boom, I drink a touch and I knock it too heavy because Oba, na, I'm a friend on casa. That alone, no, I am louder than even Wakasa. What I said, I'm a go in your mumu. What's a casa? Nasa was a one kasa. Then court na bechere. All that they have to do is say osi on kasa. Na the court. Then the court no sa was on kasa.
Yeah.
On kasa then na ya kasa was on kasa nti munya no nko fie. Amo kasa o monwe no ho. Yeah, I think with the politics on the get it. These characters your kasa say no we and that's doctor not here know who and say we didn't need this guy na so far ni nyina kan obi na sha manfo abufo no so I think it's serious can Ofori Atta busia for say den yeah I think say yes obia wo ho kwan as Ghana need to say anything but you see na make say answer na wo do wanim be kwakwaji ade anim no you should always have your back against the wall so people will not have questions to ask you and wo yes na na it's good so Obia be fighting for the family member because a dean can Ofori Atta and I'm sure say Interpol criminal nipa na no mo that list no so no a drug syndicate where you just a criminal sir omo wanted within the international community and omo on your that list so it's on record and the dean can Ofori Atta na link back to a fear mpanimfo ebrewa so definitely no you not take it kindly because a good man for any you understand so I think that it's okay so what is at the end but you see the question maybe some who say enti sabi eniema hunu nana ken Ofori Atta ye no krom ha say no na family no na motiase ana mututu kwan ko China na Vietnam afi no mo ba no mo bete de ekoso when the nonsense was going on in this country, you know, Ken Ofori Atta busian for no more Ghana no more vacation or China. So they didn't know. They didn't read the papers. They didn't know what was happening when the guy was foolishly borrowing. You can't say China ontie. When all use companies here to advise transactional advisors, paying friends. When the gentleman was aggressively no egu papa kwase Indian banks and then as for enti family ni hu nyansa nka say oya Ghana business wa fa Ghana for enti your family yesrew kane momo kwanya changes kwa na obaye at the supervisory rem na ye na kwase Indian abie banka oye nipa adwuma yese hwan say do agongo abie adwuma our bank na ne problem nyina ne say or asem court and he cannot own a bank ya different in some egu ni bank Ken Ofori Atta was the master planner behind some of these things when the guy was borrowing here and there corruption a Japan PDS deal ekoso recordings and eba ni di wom omo check commission share na as for family no more he so you see and America say you could do a point and there is no shame in society I think they should just shut up and allow things to drive you understand because all come back and forth for Moshana Omano. Family should have been the first person to kick in. Now, among special prosecutor, no. So definitely no. On the medical condition here complicated and called family na man there. I don't think a family na issue statement say, hey, say in the constitution 7 months time. Who's the department? When the thing was back and forth now, special prosecutor wanted answers, you know. The family did not write to the special prosecutor, they did not go there. But now, yet not to Interpol red alert so you know free so no I was saying I messed that opportunity now sending a cut so no that is when the family is getting the energy to say your friend say na Ghana for mu you know you some with family members sa kwasi head cut na sabi ye okrom ha pensioner de ni sika ono a save ni sika o say or the akoto government share no Ken Ofori Atta ebubu omu sika no kama papa no oni abusuani wawu ohyefom sa ye fa senche so hwan sa ye fa say hotel kase bia wa papa no so no so wawu omudo mu ni abusuanfo ye ka bi mo onye ye these are shameless cowards say sometimes I know make the politics na cheap and media meme hu sa statement na social media no na me free say be enkwasa say me do be actual akoto social I didn't even know that nonsense will be coming from a family member because over the years you know ye nim dia koso okroma ya answer na obetimi aka nsem bi say no the ekoso no esenka waka be pen because when Ghanaians were wailing no you cannot say that people were complaining that Akufo-Addo no they were all NDC people Ghana for Messi asofo bi o bank or say or koto government bond na chese ni sika nyina na de kokoya ade obobo siansa na ode didi enti oho na sa alert bi omutua some time ago bi a omo sanje ye no ebeto na account no ofre amamfo ode omo kan say oh we de nyame adom abeto account mu ade tia na pokoduru bank kwakoyi a omo san withdraw scan say by mistake enti obi a oyɛ healthy ɔno a de ne sika gu ɔno by force why yarefo
pressure
and the family ebinim wu sa Gold Coast we na kind of we papa kwasi ndom ade na ɔde ba do you know the number of people mu sika wo mu a obo wu ɔmo ebinim ada na yarefo family no na mo wo hefa I think say sometimes you know there is no shame in obi aye niam hunu bia na ofa ne ho adi. I am expecting say come back advises the special prosecutor say making sure say you don't witch hunt na mom emra ne nhyehyeye ewo ho no ye ba na ye tu no fo obedi so na ye ne na kasa say obeba eda sei na oba ye be make sure say the esamo ye bia no mo be ye say me no ka
we are okay na just say wo ne nyansafo na ke kasa wo
exactly. That is what every normal human being will do. Yes. And these are people I say can you turu for money yes and no. What I say. Say Abrante I can say or na the masterpiece one puzzle. Puzzle now you tutu and yes no. Ofori Atta is the masterpiece in the larger corruption puzzle now you try to you first unravel in this country. Gozia me no ka say NIB. Any Yoko for I open a separate investigation about the criminal dealings in this country. So for him, no first and a special prosecutor and one no. But say no, I double obviously a double salansa. Yoko a way. So I know today no the gentleman is going to have a ride. So the early he comes and face whatever he's supposed to face and stop playing this I am sick card. I am sick, there be a country or you're ready. Obi yare won't win Kasasi and I say. But the reality is when you be away bedridden, when you be away immobilized, I would have bed so. Aka say on to win to kwan according to sources go ebinim kwaso mu hunu land not say ye fence ba bi didi and the pictures were circulating on social media so we know bia we yare da house won to win nante won to win nya we yes we are finance minister so we bo bra papa I will be more than happy enough to avail myself and answer you understand and that kind of Atta so yare abra no ye finance minister me say hu ni tie siso atim say akwa na yare no na mo we ask me kotena TV because he should resign for the health sake. Okay.
If you did them.
Yes. Because who know team so yare at that time, you know, I was worried say even decisions no making were not out of reasoning because the guy was sick. At that time, no family no who say, oh, yeah, buy or yare. So on Quatina China will be take over. NPP as a political party, MPs in parliament, you know, I said no, Ken. Abraba wo de economy newborn and ya brabo papa nti yesro he's in chain every year. A free doctor now we go to no find saying there is this doctor owo Kumasi
and dia pia kubi
no ba kubi o ye and dia pia kubi ba kubi o Kumasi omo ko tu no primary so lusu ye onu so am say o doctor o ye otaya interviews o me ni na me wura fi ye tu no ene otaya grant interview ye ko tu no ma ene otifie because okodi animu say ye nyi Ofori Atta floor or a lawyer mom okay no and there be could be dying we Kumasi ankasa
there be Eugene now
yes Eugene
you are your doctor
okay Eugene asem na make
Eugene Boache
ye tu no say otifie na onya MP
you say we common from
yes because of that we no mu di animu say Ofori Atta nsin chen yes yes oni andi we no ye tobu nyina kwatena fie so this is abrabo Ofori Atta bebo no kroma say enema branche we aye no kroma say no say nya emra na ye adwuma no mu ni kosikejeti ana say makwala nka ema na bebu na kuno because of some decisions o take ya it take a man for life away from them. This is the crimes even you can say it's alleged, but the consequences and the impact of these alleged crimes were visible, were very impactful. And the papa was indium. Obi oye ya fence adwuma wura na wadan ya kawura. I'm told say na kra na honya de wayare. This is a businessman or creative business there.
Over 3,000.
Yes, and there is no business that was as a challenge, you know, even more challenge or but yet make us a challenge your hands, you know, what as a company, that is how I run it. So you as an overseer, no, you have to re-engineer plan and instead of we leader Nyansa team, you engineer plan just to ensure somebody can navigate it through. Sabaya nipa benye adwuma ye. Ya de timodin gugu sa nyuma we nyina gu ye. Ema majority of people kwatena fie. And that time so obia enya kisu bra na be you are out there talking nonsense witch hunting and or yare no ye say na bra no yare na owu no na onfa nya finance minister na yemfa ntu amana se cathedral na yen sesa ye sika na was he not borrowing So I think the family should give us a break. Some of this nonsense, this emotional crusade, no, will not fly in the face of reasoning, in the face of logic. Because Ghana, they lived through the Ofori Atta era. They saw what happened, they experienced it. Some lost their parents, some lost their uncle, some lost their wife, some lost their fortune. And the doings of this gentleman. Branabe, you are not come and answer. That's up to us, you understand? So I think that the special prosecutor must do whatever it takes. I'm happy say the Attorney General has started processes just to ensure that the extradite him. It's going to be a bit complicated, but family no one answer Sembia can and special prosecutor and so much let command. They should write to Ofori Atta. Say any special prosecutor na no. Ghana for na no. Opa se sia me declare say baby abehu Ofori Atta bia no momfa na man ka be Ghana for mo abrochi om kwakọ hwe ne number. Because do na the sika ba kroma Ofori Atta anti sika na kam. They are angry and peeved. Man for better the number kroma say. That is how ama brabo number boy no. Ama Ghana for ye peeved and angry about the way they did their thing. So for me I think say family needs to just shut up. And mereness or mokasa no atwam. Because Abrana Niema Hunu Kosono, that was the time I said, Commodium Jim, no Mutu, more for Siano for Abrana, oh, take those and Quasia decisions in Amagana Coboy, you know. But I know my boy, baby, trying to pick the pieces together, so a bit me coming back, then bringing your voice to the conversation. I think they should give us a break.
Well, it's all.
Once again, the chronic came. Oh, say, 24 great grandma. Say, me too, me too, fine, teacher man. Now, can Ofori Atta share the brass or Ghana? I make kind. I predicted today. Say, the bedroom baby. Mobabe, the reason why I was say, a buying, a bebano. Ebenya sika e atu Ghana football na ye dia ball man ho bia san se kwani bia wo bo bia to beti omo sha ase from 2017 January na no mo ye veteran chere ho na be minister for finance sabre me choko my parliament say can Ofori Atta does not qualify to be a finance minister dedi kan the woman Shiamus and some no and you know, credit say Okoye University here and I
want a fraud there.
Should the movie be a scam?
Second, Ofori Atta or any better qualification as far as finance or whatever is concerned, economics is concerned, we need any better qualification there. Everything he provided to the panel was false. And Suhini Busa the question, and prior to Suhini the question, you know, now I think was it Suhini now that said Busa they say, does he have accounts in tax havens? Tax haven, yeah, baby, who are one person who bet you at 1 man, would you seek a kusi? Senator avoided taxes, mainly. 2. Obi owa owo sika bia opese wo di gane ana wo di sie ne manfo ana oman no e ho so utimi di sika ko na oye obi a ono ne the first criminal yenya no oman we mu in this fourth republic obu aban Rollins aban tie Rollins aban obu Rollins aban faso sata no fi Liberia Abagana, Oni Johnson Sirleaf na no president.
Yeah, mama be.
Ewo Liberia no. Sa data bank no oni maame no ne bie ye. Eti maame no had I think a higher percentage shares plus some other friends of his. Omo nya no more Liberia. O call Liberia. The dia no the freaking ye mame. Dia on the friend. Now Odi dream one my dream no ko drew bepe so say on snake ko to kese say opesu osisi adan e ma snake workers na to say the a free fa nya free fa IK champion
yeah
aka for to be golf yeah osisi estates be wo Ghana ha ne su bi mada say nya saglema Eke Champon is still holding the record. Na saa time na no oye saa de no. Na empanifo bi kwati ku bi ne frɛ no People's Movement for Freedom and Justice. PMFG. Na ye boy a Champon achi. Yes, anu mani nyina. Enti saa de no na ono so ekofa say template we Rollins aban. Mo mas net ma misika na me fancy estates ahodo pi estate na
sika no so e
dan wa asase no okoji asase no o se man so aba asase no nti sika $12 million obi en Google obotan
Yeah.
Obotan
I read through.
Oh, you're criminal. Look, say a cable meza 10 or 10 is 7 way to take on for no yabef. KG na make KG na make Canada can Ofori Atta Nurses. And one Alex Daddy now Ofori Atta Nurses do me no. And on no ye. Everything they did is criminal. Pot koshe and no pa pot them a pot. Ne koshe adia e koso what them a pot. Because omo J pot adwuma ni free aban nsem. GC net na aban wo percentage wo mu ana GC net dey here adwuma. About 35%. They took all aban percentage no dey adwuma ne ko baby your friend unicorn. And then busobia what them a pot unicorn enya adwuma. Me boamachi Bomachi. Madam for Broni bi. Or a Brazilian.
Yeah, pay up in 2 minutes.
Anna, or they a Juma bae. Say, Obia or in the Yoma from an neighbor Biano. I was say a man are buying who in advance.
Yeah.
Adia all ship free country, so the Abagana and Tiafredi be advanced shipment information. Now, embedded in advanced shipment information or the tracking account. Oh, you bet. Tracking cargo no say be obi an your man nyira wo high seas onyoma bedru Ghana enyira eti the tracking account e frɛ bibi cargo tracking note na ken Ofori Atta ne akwa bi e frɛ ni Coleman o makọ sign contract aye company bi e frɛ ni CTN Ghana Limited ajeje importer sika di o mu wie ya o magu company no we nyina hye ni tu o we kra me fan koy o enka ho afena mde no
afena ade no beko
etieka ken Ofori Atta asemo a abusua no omo ho ye me fere se omo de omo anu betum na omo de omo anu tum incapacity as what se abusua ben a omo free hin omo ye hwanom a omo ye ni pata Ghana ni ben abusua ben papa ben abusua papa ben because this is abusua mu be ka che ye se ye ya beifo ma
Yes.
Say ya criticize ya kufa do kronfo to bottom ni balawo say wo di e-levy atutu ye bottom wo ye fon so ade ye fon ada ni galamsey site e tu galamsey wo ye fon so ya koka enti o mo kuro mo hine ne say yen ye ya beifo ma yen a wo he beifo ba na ka wo he onu na ni na we ye animu a won na say beifo ba wo de we na nim ye nim e kan Ofori Atta nim twabusua ni nyina hwe nim we ye a ye kasai hwe ye sua nim na wan na se beifo ba abusua we e na omo ye den sebi nka mu tu ne fo tete ni ye ma ne bo bra pa
all right 30 seconds
and ata ye abusua so sorry say ata yi no so ye nyana ye ajeja no
ne eja
from força
okay
obe finance minister wia sika kogu abusua no ho mu di sa na kufa do papa be ye mampani just for 1 year 5 months hwe kro no obo ye ship kura potimi yira ship 1 year 5 months o bokro no
ba fa me sa dia farmer so na ire
wia ye san wia ye ma ene kufa do atọ Japan nyina including hotel no ohu de Yakopon eye se oba aban mu nu asa akọji hotel na eso onu societe general for o ma chalice ni na ye hotel keke o so asema ekoso no abusua ni ntwomu mfim na munya abusua papa bia nchanga na ni bia abusua ni the best we can describe you is a very intolerable family akonfo abusuya ya ma be wia ma regabi hwede regabi ayo ma yi hwe kofi asante be di etu hwede nankopo aye no hwede yare aye no wo bibi ka mo kosere nyame na mo so tin na ma aye
Thank
you
very much. Because the amount of money involved, one crop from where was a year. Now you demand for flower, so ebe here Sikani be the acquired Jumano. Sikano mean to be from no cat because a draw so papa. Because any papa could pay over 9 billion. As any panahua. You can imagine. Shit, if I could be a yama 1 page here. Oba say any paba say 20 na go first page yet me ma ba say 3 page ni a clip abom another 3 page say document dey me dey ba mo amu bebre na me sharan ma fa ma document na be ye wadwuma no e wo phone no so ye be ne kama but answer ne ye be sha ase e wo maslok no me hu se na nabi aka asem bi o say Ghana for dede na ye na Ofori Atta mebu nkonta na OSP twe no no yare na fa hi kosi no ye betimi ye dede bia ye pese ye bia Ofori Atta pa obetimi aba Ghana ne opa no be kasa wo OSP ho OSP bisa na sema opa no be fi no eye ne right say opa e no be kasa na me kan story no kwa chire na me say lawyer ni na kasa ya na say yanya yankwa ye law yi bi na kasa mere na lawyer na da bi na ni abra wo kasa yi second Ofori Atta ye ne right say ye pekra ye de ne ba Ghana na opa omua yen opa ye bisa le say de ntina cathedral $58 million akwa kowura mu opa no be yi ano ye ne right nana bi na kama ye mu binom yenka memenye law enti memeka obi abeti asese o ya de so wanye law enti o de ko na adwene na eka no obi a wo se wa ye law na wo pese o ka kire yen say ye do manye dwuma sho bi nsa na nipa no eye ne right say opa no be accountable to us. But I wasn't surprised. So God's name is na what national service na ho aba asem no but one na approve me atua say finance sika bia ya tua wa Ghana ha bia finance na approve ansa na akọ eti me ya sure say the na bi ye nyina is to protect on one ho because of God's name si ho nsem about national service because enya sa asama wo kan ya nya law kra da no the common sense to ho a ye gbehu say binyansa bia anim eye da no obi abeje appointment as a finance minister adabi onenti onwo ato force tama momo wa ba mu ana mo twe na bo so say ambulance no kra mpa ono kra nya ono kra na cars wo mo nkoto ono de wo kwa sign kra ma se tekwe o sign for mo twe na bo so court no ono so na kan na right so betimi akasa on kasa dabi ade bi wo a mo ka mo fo buo en my Ghana for kakra na mo hu se nye nyina na ye damp saa o enti wuti me ka se bia keke mfa ntum framam na wonya wadwen se eye politics na me ye ntini ma me nka na me nko second Ofori Atta ye pa dede ya ye betime de na baga no pa no be kasa really okay yenti kan Ofori Atta be ba Ghana oba no akọ OSP no adani mum wo be second Ofori Atta na $58 million e call cathedral mu oso won kasa SML adan wo man sheda nya adwuma bia na atuamka o se ben kasa PDS edianti ene etimi tena ase as finance minister na PDS scandal ba e was okay come wuntimi kasa biem ene fine ni ama bail ni the condition na to so mo be bail ni wi ani ade na court okwadu court wa say my lord me kasa enye ye ana Kofi mebwa enti court hwe na say silence mean concerned ya send na say ya do koto nsa wam so ankasa wow ade bi wo a you politics free na face reality say kind of Ofori Atta pa e no be kasa ye the right e ye the right say say ya small so be the finance minister o ya mfre no ene ya mfo so no. In fact, it go to a point na Ghana for yan kasa ya say yan na wosum ya say yan pelko including one party for na kadwuma wo ya yentua wo kan ya si jaide Kofi nkasa bi wom Ghana Ofori Atta so wanya ya adwuma no
say adwuma na wo ye no unye ni ye ene yesi
ene yesi jai ye mo ye ntuaka
unyi pay
wo se mi nyai
unyi pay o I ready see betuaka but wo so
unyi pay
ene wo se adwuma na wo ye no enye ne yesi jai wa wo krofo se jai wo se mi nyai dia ene asema ba se wa na wo so wo own problem
wo se all right to say oba no bekasa
yo obi kokko wi abode ye say kwa ne no kokko tumu onsawam na Ofori Atta yesi Edioma bi born ho nti omra ne hwehwe ne nsemu on your America
ai o di ayare be
o pe e de kire yen Andrew na me kasa asem we say sa ne oma we bi e na ma emabunu na ni bere wukuro
exactly the point
yes because obetena say we say na papa pen mu kura mo na ye keka say we ye wie sika yi e na bia na ne yoko nyina so mu chesi no
ai
wo mu nyina chesi no enti no papa pen mu kura mo na ye kasa sabe we wie sika yi enti e enkwada de biase no omo mede on say because of any no omo pedi ku far ka say mi say na point is ni nyina no mo bia nko ba bia omo ntena Ghana ha ya sabe accountability be dey e be koso so why are you running away
na in the first place na bi wo benya adwen bi say ye dede second Ofori Atta mebu akonta no ye pa ye nye dede no mra Ghana ye ne right opa on kasa really
so on kasa pa waba so on kasampo a wabekuruma ene okay na bi e mo ka che Ofori Atta say on Ghana o de oba mo nkasa kofa de bra mo ka che na bi say on ka che Ofori Atta say on kofa de mra Ghana ana on kofa Ofori Atta mra Ghana oba mo nkasa Ghana fo koya ko mo beto yeyem say Ofori Atta ye hwehwe na ye hu no sesi ade waba na ya me de bia meka me si OSP mesan kworo so bio na su a mekọ nyina ne say onim OSP no na dwuma na sen o wa dwuma na sen nioma bia bia kata se pro ye dream ye ne kankan ye no obaye se obaye den obabra no ase ye be sia no kwa na oman na timi enye sika enti ayo oman ni sika de de bo ho ka aden to no timi full play e ko US amri bi ye twam na ade afie de OSP ntimi ntukwan enko US enko hwe ba bia Ofori Atta wo na ma hu se ampa me ko ye no Ofori Atta oyare da yare yampa so ampa no mebo Ghana fo amani
me ko ye de ye tie ne de anche se Ofori Atta oyare yo ya woni nam ayo ya America no ono agina ni o
na ya de wo kan Ghana ni bi so ana so no so ni busu ne be ba bon ana obi beti ba bon tia ba ka tie se oyare so oyare a bra hospital wona bra be hwe edu
bua ye na ye twe na bo so no ono oni abusia
pa
na po na odi eye koneaba no oni abusia na nabi ankasa ho
no ye ono abusia dana gweda kwemu nyina no mo abusia
omo ayi Ofori Atta ye nipa church
achu o nipa nchi obi a
o ye nipa church Victor Solomon
OSP no lawyer kisia japen anopa yesrawo Ghana for di da so pa enti no so hwe Ofori Atta na wo hu na bomode a ubetimi akọ yes ubetimi akọ very important because na bi aduro no ana o e be dey say yes attorney general ya be yadmo chena sa o ra no ho sem no o de baba ba betudwa Ghana for ni da so rough me say sika manfo binum awia fa kwete kwan so afa se wo motom no se aban no ayusu ora we no de Jesus sika ne adwapade na
eno an ye hwehwe o
me no me ye hoto abeto ye no won say an emra ne yedi nkomo bi okọ American embassy a enipa do ananka last year ne last 2 years no mu tu kwan no ene ye so te because onim say no ahoto kakra ye den e wo kroma eno nkyere so obi nya opportunity a wonko muntie ne ye eno nkyere so obi nya opportunity wonko obekọ na mom no kan na manfo to santen bebre wo no mu gira wia so na America for san panish ye wo krom hadam no ye ko ya adwuma
o mu gusu kra ye
o mo san panish because o mo ye ba bi ntra na gira wia mu enei aswati entese kan ni biu so we kire se emaburu no nim se da chimpe bi ye dan e wo hodom eni ye sika ne ye dwapade akwa hye ba bi no mo yimra entimi masabe ma mete kura se to hye na wo no te kurom na sika wie nti na wa yeye na me ma baba ye kwasampani no kire bi waka se ma me ne papa amobra ensi me ma me ne papa amobra wo so ma me papa no ya kromfo
eze no ano no
yes
so me ma me ne papa o mo nya kromfo mo be wi o man sika
ano no
aha
enti ya hwehwem ni ya so wo nya kromfo akwetena ba bi wo ye kromfo a na mmra no ane wadi pepepe
Sa corruption, yes, will be a corrupt.
Eh, ya kronola. Sa brofona ye kan ya na me ntumu say corruption. Eh, krono.
Na you no kwachi obi akokọ ba no. Ya
ono dia ya so a thief.
Okrofo bi akwachi obi akokọ ba di jeli no. Na wo di book ko ba so ye corrupt.
Ye de brofato so grammar. Ni a policy ne kama ayi akoye se corruption esi wo baby. Corruption esi wo baby e krono na akoso wo baby.
Ye abri wo kroma pa.
What you say?
Na banjuma na wo ye no e se ohun se that bi abaka ko bu akonta e dia ma ban no anaso oman no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wo sisi e so nim say that bi ofri so a one na point is ni na nkonta bu obi wo no ma Ghana for o mabudi am
2060 wo free aba munya Ghana ha na no.
Yes, so why are you running away? Professor Christopher Miyakumfi Sky Train yanche no wo dia wo ken for ata wo chen no
o enipa chen no. So when young Crawford so almost when you have na no me kind story na me say na bi me
na un say omo
me pesa me yusu
omo testers ne eye serial college no eye nuanom no omo NPP for no o say this omo nya yi omo appointees no omo so bi o omo support omo yi o Senka previously no be here no na get appointee bi aye bone a na omo defend no this time round omo yes ade no what study ade na
na say
yeah Facebook na here ade obi no aba bonte say o defend Ken Ofori Atta na so defend e bi a Professor Christopher Miyakumfi na so obi
ya dubu ahene ne prof
obi defend obi ate no ba bi because o skala odi ya no wa ma
na unim say ade ba ko ase wo pese wo measure bibia ya hwe social media wo post ade ya hwe comment section comment na ba mu wahu adwena enkrofo wo fa wo ho
yeah
what you say because enra obi postu ade bi fa me ho me da me kan comment o me kan de obe tworo bia me kokan me kan comments na me hu say 80% of the comments na e wo ho no
okay
e ma nipa no post no eye nonsense nyansa nim. It is a who post to Adiana comment over 80%. Emma who said I didn't post to Nyansa Nima was so who said Yama way and Munu to Jai. Why? Now Muntuna na beef for say, or Wakuntabu, or no, Jina Hono Catcho be said, or Panobe Casano, or no, or Wakuntabu for National Service. Sir, be ya, at Yase for no mu pay ma, Nansa man 40 cemetery, no mu pay. E did not say for comedy woman. Sa asam da wo ye ntwa so. Sa me say briefing space kakra banti. Ana wa ya wa say wonya opportunity kakra no wa ye dede. Ya che wontumi wo ye dede. Ya che adubo ahi wo ye dede. Ken Ofori Atta chasa wo de obi adachi ne bia wo ye ho dede. E chasa wo mu no kwa you are not clean. You are not clean.
Say ono so ye ntedu ne bre so a
no okay no anya sympathizers aba be di na chi asabra no waka no. Let's move on to Maslock. The last time na we catch us but I time Maslock achi e very simple. It's 2006 and our former president Kofo Ede Maslock ebaye adwempo na e chekire nyina ne say ye bema wo mo anibi ana obia wo pe bibia opeso de so na sene ade ye adwuma no aban be ma ne bosia ho dwo
I don't think na microfinance
exactly
and small loans
thank
center.
You
Maslock
and it's butaye no very simple obia oni bia oni ajapade odi kosia wo bank na waje bosia oya Ghana ni opeso oya bibi na brabo tumpon sa nipa no Maslock ebe ma ne sika Nancy Wono, se bank ebeju ebia 10%. Maslock ebeju ebia 2%. Se bank ebeju 20%. Ebia Maslock beju be 5%.
Okay.
But ayana etechira president Kofo ade Maslock eba ye nyina no. Sani abeya wo mu ni bie no ye Ghana for mo peso mo didwa. Wo mu ni bie no mo so ye Ghana for mo peso mo do mo nsa eye adwuma no. Ye benya sika bi dia bo sa afo ni chidom. Na wadi sikana kwa ye adwuma no abetua na obi foforo so aba abeje dia kwa ye adwuma no abetua senia ye ya bank bosia okwaje a enya for the Christmas wutimi tua bibia no saa na Maslock tie Maslock enya for the Christmas sika ene ye cha wa Maslock eya bosia enti se wunya anwoden tutu wunan akwa Maslock a fatu wutirim say eya bosia na wo kwaje okwane ama wo car eya bosia na de abo e wasa car ni kwaye adwuma na obeye sales etua ka be kwaye ya wa abantin kra na yakoto car ye de ma we campaign yes but say every day be a driver na beye sales to cover the debts of the car or the vehicle na number of years na ye de ama no eso a car na ye ne dia masrok buta ye nyina no eti ni papa mu a sabe mpraduasa member of parliament and kamasrok ukwaye den wo ho minister of state ukwaye den e wo masrok ka ukwaye hwe wo ho because you are capable aban ena hwew yan taxpayers no ena ye hwew ye tua wo health ema ye ma wo fuel ye ma wo bibia ba mo wa comfortable the last time na me ka say 1992 constitution na da hodom no the framers behind our constitution na omodo article 71 holders ehemu ema omo packages bi ka won no enye se bia na omo ndwen wo ban no ho ena omodo sa article ne share ho ma sa nkrofukuo na omo fall into that article no namom tirimu po ene say obi ko officer oya under article 71 number 1 our influence our decisions be abakoso ewo manimu no our influence our mind sikasam so our influence our mind say bebo anase begina it is a nipa no one man comfortability and one man asitire mu anko yi a ode ne nsa ebebo mind sikam aboye krono eno ti na article 71 na eda ho no obi a fall within no yesi yebema wo car ya ma wo rent allowance anase yebema baabi a wo betena enti nya dia rent betuatua waso se na Ghana for dem kromo a rent boa ya dia yentimi ntuai wo no emfa ho aban be provided rent and as accommodation amount ya ma fuel anything na coupons wo ho wo to fuel electricity kura no yan na was ye tua ma se ne be ya wo benya asumdue na wo dia dwene wo ban ne wo kane but aya a Thai constitution na ya article 71 ewo ho no enu anu no constitutional framers ne dwene huhu say san krofo ne ya ma wo mo comfortability bi aya hwe yi a omodo wo sababu bo man ni sikamti enyam from so obi ayire ne wo no ye adwuma no be fall under the article 71 na e bia ye be ma no some kind of provisions bi eti ya ma sa niam ni nyina wi a menya sure say e was on mini kofi woni yensa ba pere wo fam ho ewu yansa ba bi ayaya ba guru akose ye kwa akopa bibi kakra no wo san free soro ho na ne ya ba guru ho wa ha na watimi abomani arise adu soro ho ya ma all the necessary provisions I was ye dem ma wo wi anu wa san free soro ho na ne ya ba guru wo fam ha ade a wo say ye kwa ye benya no na woni yensa ba be pere wo ho wa ha wo jesu a tumi kakra ye de ama wunti no wosimi ntua na asabo ye ka wai ya ka wo he eti ya mama soko no se ma me ka no krancho masoko na esi na MC owini o hwini wati ne ani abra ya da ka no se ya da ka bi ga wontimi nya adwuma wo kwa wo sisi ya nipa gu ho doso obi a pebose de akoya adwuma na no na me ka mfantu ho bi sei abaya na osu nkosua enam traffic mu no dwetire ne nyina ya ahe 100,000 Ghana cedis wutimi hwe nyame anim kwa masrock no akwaje ba 100,000 1 billion no waje 200,000 300,000 4 billion 5 billion no akwakoto a minivan brand new no a deposit of maybe 30,000 okwa wosimi ntua biem sika over 500,000 na 5 billion no na wo se wontua enti de oso nkosua na traffic no no okwa obenya bi onya bi enti asem na etietia there are some documents say ne ya ne say ya kan say mountain no so ase won fall ya ya be fall ya be climb ya kwa mountain no so some mountain do fall ba ya climb ne ya de akwa mountain no so enti say ya da wo kan na say wo se wontua ne atro le tabrɛw letter no smith they are ready be afato one yen kan do ade beto obi kofi no wakan ni a woni pakra letter ne ya ne dia ye wi ane ada ne ka simple
no ya all say motive pa na ye former president Kufo e de masolok no e ba e 2006 and say one or the reduce poverty.
Exactly.
Oh here any ahokyere free any nkwankom obi say me fanka ho any nkwankom ade free eye nipa so enu nti ana sabre no eno kan bi na wo mo de maslock e baaye etoso mienu to create jobs say be bie enwuma enwuma in a sense say say bia me makwa bia makwa akwaje maslock e bia ma me car loan car loan no me de be ma bantie bi o ho de ye driver ni a all pay adwuma ye obenya bia ye ono so be fa bantie bi a wono so ye mate ni a wono so pay adwuma ye mama nkrofo mienu adwuma ye ananye sa
exactly
good say me kwakwaje besia no na ye ma me sika meti media kwakwa bie company bi ana bodwo adwuma bi a eno so no manfo beti se bi as fridge kura de meto a meto pia water wo manfo aba be yi akwakoton wo traffic mu ba bi adwuma enti ebema burden na ewo nipa so no nipa be relief kakra sa two main motives we in the nam so ema maslock nankasa ye established in 2006 so ade na beba se wo be kwakwaji sika no na be wadwen se untua. For example, anypa bi asabre o letters wa hanum ya ba wo say Abigail wa sign ai wa hanum no san krofo no enye nipa bi anka san ke de masolo sika kra de ma wo
ba ye de amom
me nka ne sa se o mu nye nipa o mu ye nipa because o mu ye Ghana for nyame ne bo won na mom no hwe di bie kura won ani asete na wo mu wom na enye ade asa ho kire no wo mu wom bi enti ade na san krofo no ye kode ye de masolo ko ne ye de ma wo ana masolo ko ya ye kan obi ntimi free me kurom emma se be beje masoro ko ba ya na edama wo
dabi
hwehwe ni mu I'm telling you ansa na masoro sika no kura ansa beka bi no agi se wo politician bi ma na di wani mu ansa na saade no ya yi saade na free word ma ebeye den se ye de masoro sika ne de ma amafo betu
exactly
because oba imagine say me ma ban na aba so me deserve se me nye sika ne bi opposition for de ye ma won
Omo ya Ghana for good opposition for no me ya Ghana for
enti na ban na abade oba beje maslos kana ontia hwe enti obetimi atua peanuts ebia odeka ebia 300,000 na watua so ntutuso dudu 30,000 Ghana cedis
say no your deposit on say ya wo insisa ya wo maslo ko ne say answer na de sika ne be ma na obe ya initial deposit ana ebia ye car kra na obe deposit ebia for 5% and 10% of the total cost depending on the amount involved eti nipa no onya ye sa deposit ni wie say kim ni de car ne ma na enua no smith for first document to so ne ko ye be ka free ya de to so na obi ehu bi na che say enua because first document ya ha ya be kan na say the city papa ya gie sika me ba cho we ya wan dia
we the managing director Card Integrated Farms Limited Koforidua I don't know what's here
or the kasai what they kind first 2-3 paragraphs
okay I say idea say demand for payments loan repayments
sika say na so tia
Sasika
we yamasho
Sasika we 480,000 Ghana cedis
sure 4.8 billion Chidemusa na Ghana frontier here 4.8 billion
also in November 2019 the Microfinance and Small Loan Center Maslock granted you the loan or facility of 480,000 Ghana cedis, 4.8 billion to be repaid over a 12
month period.
Yeah, good. That's a abosome pari edumienu and we tia. That's a phenomenon.
Yes. What do you say? I say a car. Cars so they are koba womb. But me nya be 10k.
The agreed monthly installment was 40,800 Ghana cedis. Making the total repayment obligation 537,600 Ghana cedis. That's in all
inclusive interest. Interest.
Yes, I don't know. That's in all Ubetia almost
5.3 billion.
5 billion.
Aye, we have 5 billion.
5 billion.
Aye.
Now. Oh, maybe a call. Maybe.
And then also our records show that to date, only single payment of 30,000 Ghana cedis made on 13 May 2025 has been received. This leaves an outstanding balance of 576,000. Okay, 7,600 Ghana cedis. 507,600 Ghana cedis. It's winning. Okoje car no, so aje loan no, so aje then you say a car, say a sika. And a initial deposit
of
30,000 Ghana cedis. Otia says sika ni we ye free 2019 me patcho I was saying 2025.
How many years
there one city crown fan coin.
2019. Ever 2025.
Jeff Kunadu Ado. I said yes. Ade also ade 1 year etua no 6 solid years ni wantua na buy na what power me da me nim ni pakro ye ni din ade Jeff Kunadu Ado, managing director KADD Integrated Farms Limited Koforidua. Jeff ya Jessica obra fasikane bra obeso ya Ghana ni awonu so hia bidi akoye adwuma fasikane bra 2019 awasanka ayiro so 2021 na kwatu awie ya wa 2025 na ho de ama ade no kwaya mabufu ne say intentions na wa kire ne kire say mintua because obetua enkoye initial deposit ni wieye no ko be make attempt say o monthly kra no mamintua bibi kaka Jeff Kunadu Ado aya na ade se sika ne nya ade obetua nti no oye initial deposit wieye ya dane sika no se ka ne ma no na ape o so otwuro minim awie masrok chese we ya Ghana ni chia obi enti wo timi kwaje masrok a wontua meboa wo no we ya Ghana ni chia obi eti wo che maso ka wontua Jeff Kunadu Ado fa ye sika braye se sika outstanding wo so tua 5 billion.
Eti wo de 5 billion ne ba 500,000 ne ba di
bigu so
wo de egu achi nkwa ye mfa nche no
ye mfa nche ne ye de ya
500,000 Ghana
wo betua ni nyina ye die sika. And one of the most annoying parts of this thing is that one more magic cars no so much cars na te won fa so
eti 2019
maso akofra wo mo a woni mu ayo de mo pa mo be fa car ne nko enti so mani ba umia no sa no ka kire maso akofo o so wo de car na ya adwuma to cars 3 eti maso akofo pa wo mo de na wo de ma no o mo me fa nko
yo enti ayai eno na me ka se hwe nia esie no Abigail enfanye esuade na going forward no on kwan ye on obi a ohun se nipa le sefata so betimi atue sika no e ma na yeye enye nipa nya do obi adi anim na o hwe na ma ne loan maslok loan ni bi hwe na ma ne
ade wo mu ne say enkwafo na akasa kwabi wo mo akasa ne kwaje omo na agie o
ba dodo na nso no yai dodo na nso no politician e bedi nanim
na se no ade ye ka kwasi
politician e bedi nanim ti na say yenja sa
that's one to so
ni amanyina no
e da ye aba ni nyina ya de ni nyina beto so ye da ya ka o we ya Ghana for sika nti ye agie sika simple
na sasika we ye tua de a anka Ghana me
ke 5 billion sha wo ho obi pe just 10,000 Ghana cedis e de akwa start adwuma won kwa because wo access to power nti no waje 5 billion de akwatena fie we me kana me ho ye wahi na odidi matem
ba ko bia me hu
nipa ba ko 5 billion
ba ko bia me hu former MCE bi
gina ha ono no so de na yadru no me pa cho the next one ye we aye oh WhatsApp ya na de wo ye me mani nyo we aye Kwasi Bonzo former DC Alambala district Kwasi Bonzo now sanyam ayini ana wo to ni nyina echi wo sa baje masrock ada DC ana oton cha fine wa ye nyina ye nte Ghana DC ana oton galamse ho ne ma Kwasi Bonzo obi ana o mani abere ne ye to galamse ase o DC na ana o wo hodom no Kwasi Bonzo na oton galamse ho ne ma ton cha fine sa wa sa kwa baje masrock Kwasi Bonzo ye die sika
ontua
ye me pa cho ono ne de ye sen
ono ne sika wo kwakwaje ya wontua ye no wikido
Kwasi Bonzo obi kancha Kwasi Bonzo say ya die sika
sesi ya ne sika ni nyina no amount ankasa kokoko je ye no edo de na ka do so what you say de okwaje na ankasa na ka do 475,000 Ghana cedis 4.7.
Kwasi bonzo dia na wukan.
Dabi interest beda so.
Mo
say interest na kan wono na ba. Na che so the interest in aka wade 631,000 Ghana cedis, 750 according no.
Aye. It say as of the date of this letter,
almost 7 billion.
Our records indicate that only 30,000 Ghana cedis has been repaid, leaving an outstanding of 601,750 Ghana cedis. Kwasi bonzo former DCE Elembele. Waba baje is oje cows oje sikos oje dianyo. Initial deposit no yeah 30,000 na pe eno ano no kwasi bonzo so e DCE. Na ban na what power to oje maso sika ni we no otworo wase wontua. Eti me ba twa ono so 2019 ani ade ma no ya ma no 1 year so won fantua eti anya hwe wo de me ha mani kura na by 2021 na wase ka kwasi bonzo sika we ka watu awie wo se wontua
yeah or say despite several engagements and reasonable time
let us see ya kan ya kofi minchawa no let us see ya kan yi nyina me pa cho ya de ma yoko because when nyina ya nkrofo a wo mo kasoso a wo from a wo mo nsada nka asempapa bi afa nkyerɛ wo sɛ o ma ya ready so mo be
was it despite several engagements and reasonable time extended to ensure repayments, there has been no meaningful progress. You are hereby given 14 days from the date of this notice to either settle the full outstanding amount or submit a concrete and acceptable repayment proposal for consideration. It was what copy the executive director.
Exactly. Yes,
Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoku, High Street, Accra. A year papa.
Ezi me ba cho documents ya Ghana for media to TV su nyinaa. Mesraw ya dia mayoko bra remonacha mesraw wala ya ni bra bre no. Ya ni abro obi kwa masrok ekwan yo mo de masrok afa so. Ene se de omo pese obu gu adwuma no. Anu oden na eye me ya wo makoma mu say. Kwasi bonzo. Eti kwasi bonzo betimi aka kire ye Ghana for say. Oni sasika wo yo de betua. Owo sika no chese adwene hye de tirim ne say nana ban na what power ntisa waje a ontua. That's the whole mindset. Eya ban sika na ban sika aban no oto tuduro na oto ayi amambi ana aban oto kode aban won ton hwio eya ye tax na ye tua na aban oje aban won ton hu enti wo dia hye wo tirim say ya ban sika ntino kwasi bonzo say waje masro sika ontua. From 2019 ever to 2025 kwasi bonzo fa sika baye we me kana so obufu mi na so obedi matama ye no wasemwa ye ji sika. We can't take it anymore and we can't continue like this. And you see how yenye some simple analysis bi kaya ye kenyina ye more than 4 billion 5 billion. It is ya maso ku say na say enipa be say 100 kra and say sika we which is more than that. And say sika we yakwadu am ho a bisa wo say maso ku no ebe survive ana. How will maso survive? Kwasi bonzo former DCE Alambele fire sika brayen. With all your position and with all your connections, with all the businesses are we are involved. We say we nyame ade wo ebe boy here for sika yesi yamfama wo mo ye bodwa we say ebe Jesus sika ni bi wo ba so kra wa anye ketwa over 5 billion bra honorable wo kwa me mfa honorable nka di ho nkofo bi wo hodoma wo mo niam wo ye no honorable ka di no ho kra nye de kwasi bonzo fire sika bra yen.
Yeah.
Chamfire auto ye nyina chi. What's abaje masrok?
Yeah.
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 Yankwa next one.
Asamaba.
Asam de se beba se me ka kire.
Asamaba.
Me ka kire o say.
We no. Or a former member of parliament. Former member of parliament.
Yankwa yanim.
Former member of parliament.
Mo. The next document any Catherine. Afeku. Catherine. Ablema. Afeku, former member of parliament, evaluate Ajamro Dra constituency or the Kasa Kofi.
Nekana Wadiano. ɛyɛ 222,700 Ghana cedis 2.2 billion 700 class angu so na ono ne dia no ho awrawo se be wo ni se yesi oma won account number Ghana commercial
yes
Axim branch
yeah
oma ko to account number ni nyina ba
e wo ha
na account number na won de ma maslok fo no account number 40811 200000338 Axim branch Ghana commercial bank ana wo mo se wo mo kwa ye no na che se sika wo matwi a wo mo de atum no 57,891 Ghana cedis ana masoro ko say ye hwe o de se sika no transfer factory yan ya account mu fama ye besi ne one transfer sika no
wonim minimizes a document ni kakra bi ma me asem wo ho wonim de ama Catherine Afeku die we
or the command 9 groups or see what the command 9
de ama Catherine Afeku die we eya meja eya the personality Catherine is somebody a me penasem pa me respect no papa de eya me ya wa Catherine wo ne say wo ba beji sika se wo de kwa akoma nkrofo aye adwuma agreed. You have the connections, you have the power.
Yes, I
was the motive behind, you know, is not a bad motive.
Yes.
That is what I want to establish here. Motive behind Katrina Fekuana Mo to Yako Masrokono, and your bad motive, and your bad intention. The amount ya bad in ye. Our Jemposo Paso of one amount for, or no connection to Masrock. Na kwa masrok no kwaji sika se wo de kwa akoba enkrofukuo bi na wo mu de aye adwuma me paache wo ni papa mu a adan na Katrina Faku sister sweetheart one we nyame animal for masrok accounts anji sika no na wo ma wo different accounts so mu tua sika ni ntum okay agreed
yeah
one more different account because wo na akwaji sika no eti nya bone sika no adan na besi na bi kwa wonim say sika na akwaje ye no
enya wo dia
sabe empreduasa enya chop money ene ye dia ma wo enya promotion bi ene ekoso ba bi ni ada hyew eye bosia ade a wo se wutua ne back adan na wonim say emrada ho there is timeline was within a frame of time no e was enkofo na wo gisika na koma wo no wo make sure so be gisika na back free wo ho abetua mama so
serve your foforo so
exactly it would the different accounts and ma wo mo e no mutua sika ne tu mu e den na prevent wo honorable Katrina Faku say ye di sika ne tu mu a wo be ya mama slok e wona ma asem ne ya asem because Catherine adwuna wo fa ya fa nkrofo no de sika ne ma wo mo no enya adwembone
yes
the man ne be ya adwembone se wo mo different account number so mo fa sika ne ntum no sika ne sa betom a unsa nyi fa nkotua masokoka so the intention is that ma sika no me de ama nkrofo bi ye tua ma me back ba me ntua woni say yase akwara account no mu no out of over 2 billion no na 57,000 of them
57,000
fasikane bra so
570 million
aya twema menhwe
ado so anfama
fasikane bra one na obeka yo wo na oka say GCB account number then there were document in ya quote 57,000 them and am so okay out of over 2 billion no there what me agege 57,000 and the fasikane bra ye besin there
make so yai or the fans were the constituency wa pa oh honorable ya ade oh honorable mama no wa mu dwetire mo di dwane ade enso sa no honorable je no fa ma on fa scan ma
yes honorable wo wa beji ya wontua yi so honorable akunoku susu opebi akoma constituency for na sika na maso akoma fa we
ayo
say so na ya MP wo honorable akunoku ona ya MP e wo evaluate dwura enti say akunoku su ko alom ho so no super sika akoma omanfo na omo evaluate dwura na sika no alom obefa we be kwa wo ba ji bi no afa ama wo ba ji bi no wa afa ama honorable Katrina Faku with all due respect the one me bu no wo yo bi a ubu ho pa enti ankrofo bi niam bi a omo ye no wo ye bi kra ya na andaji mesira with all due respect for Scanabra. So one more with the man who no buntia kwana kwa jira muso na gisika na fabra de wa wo bi e wa no ka yes that account ni mu no yes ro sika na nya wo dia e ya masro ku sika e ye sika e ya aban dia aban sika bia ye Ghana fo sika aban maka cho so onton hwe e ye sika na aban no wo de rane eti na aban ne wo kire na ya ho na obese aba ba gitas onton tudro onton man bi e no onton kode mo ka cho no bu katene fa ku sei Messi de wa me pena sam ne se de mesi bu no mama so kade we emfa ne din enko ba bia ni kwan se ekọ se document yi kọ yoko katina feku fa ye sika mayen fa ye kọ next one yen kọ the next document
na ye kọ no aha ono aye former voter regional manager Edema Masolok we ye misappropriation of fund.
Yes, one ati akonwa num. And on one time
we cry misappropriation of 33 checks amounting to 825,000 Ghana cedis, 8 billion. Sasikaro, or see, bid funds intended loan disbursement to clients. Into one of the Sasikaro there. Now, regional manager, the man Masolok, and he says, Caro, yeah, the man said. Oh, well, Jenna, one more baby bessie or Master Corno. Now, my woman, just one than the whole clients. Weddy? Or no, I got that any war here. Weddy? What I know, more me boja, and watch Sikana more, no one Cassane home, and Weddy. Hey, Ghana! What was already watching? I was here, channel. Almost channel. Where a criminal is or Abigail. Chira say, Ghana by Chira say, not seven, who baby Aquacusi. Ya che na che ezu be sinne ye hu ba bia kwakosie sika over 8 billion wadamu anaso watifie ewi ase mumpa de abeti ye de sa no Richard ne din say Eben Richard Eben ana no kwa ya kokwaji sika yi manager yi your friend Daniel Wodome. Okay, follow up engagement with the assigned investigator, Richard Eben, confirmed that Mr. Wudome has been arrested and is assisting with investigations. So I just want them. Chini ya chino nti asa de okonu oba na some pain. Eti obi a ono so yama ne position. Any yama ne sika se de kofi kai. What the anyare ya kana say Robert say woman is sika so wonfanya adwuma obetimi aye adwuma ye hard working enti wo de man sika ne kakra no fa nkwankwa ye adwuma boso me so anu otua ne kakra ko sise sika na ade man no ebesa semeti na ya boss or say there be me amada na me ho Robert me ye clients me amada na me ho Robert me metimi aye taxi adwuma me amada na me ho Robert metimi aye shop hey eti wanua kasa na ya di sika ma ne sa okwo disbase ma Ghana fo nya bi fanya adwuma emfa ni di no wo do me wase wan de anya ono asika no de be kwada dum wafa wadane ne ho taxi driver wadane ne ho market woman wadane ne ho seamstress and wadane ne ho hairdresser into wanua kasa disbase sika ne de ama ne ho and wadie ye your mind say me pa cho me semi di sa wo ye your mind say ne wow ade we hamia mafa ayi masro ko work me dey say the whole Ghana obi anim say masro case me ni kofi ne yatamasi eti ye ne afa so a ye ya so ne ye be je sika my problem ne say ye mpese aban be sisa biamu a ye be sisa asem we and you see say I'm just counting on Elom because Elom is so passionate to the extent that etoda bi na okọ adwuma na ohwe workers na omo masok na woni se masok omo na omutua workers na wo ne ka enti bosia na omo ma no interest na kede da so nketenkete na eya aban dia enso no kwa masok bi sasa katua he ene de ma adwuma e fo omo ho kiti sa sika no boso me kura so a yentimi ntua because obi afamu 5 billion ya kwa kwati na fie kwasi bonzo DCU mu a wabaji biko
Katina Feku, Wabaji Biko, Message Aka, you the best fridge, you best at to us.
Yeah, and you know, can you bonnet say on Babaji, but ye can say, I beg you, man, ye. Because you crow is Kawamu, or man with Sikawumua, say Yankasi a fadrin papa, near the Atana Krum Hanama, Yanko Bobby Siat da, if you be maso. Da, and a baby, ya, which I will be baby, you know, Kayanko Babasia. And once you say I sika na ye didi djuma na yesu sika no kwabrania fa ya se na tan se mentwia e de sisi adan to talk as dem e de ne ma school papa na wo ordinary Ghanaian na ho kyerew we si anka no kore na nkyere wa wo be de no hu
we utifie wani abre media me NPP ni nya obia o kasatia NPP ni a medidi na temeye se sika ye kan wunya mu kobo obi agimu 5 billion wo de akọ o se wontua na wo wunya access to say sika de mu kotampa ka woni ndia betimi dia ye
obi pe 100 Ghana cedis atonkosia
ndia ka betimi dia ye
get no edin so baby 100 obi pe 100 cedis open me phone lines here obi pe 100 Ghana cedis atokosia one crate no de siniti akoton san kofo so na ekotua ticket no omgotua tax
the last time document na ba ko amede ba ye monya na mo fa phone line nto so the last time ba ko bi a document na ba ko ye mi hu ye Odon na wo se ho ahwan
pedestrian
shopping mall
tame wo hye ye no
me ba cho unhu ni padi o mi achro odon na shop pedestrian shopping mall 50,000 odon na pedestrian shopping mall 50,000 edin kam wo kona ko bisa wo mo ne ma hye ye ni sisi o be ka cho mo say wan siri kro mo anya se sika no e fa ahe
okay